can cut that off. It looks like we're live now, I think.
Okay, good.
Give me one second here.
It was only like 4 or 5 seconds that
Yeah,
gone,
that was
so
just
yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
That was weird, everyone. You still there, everyone? Very, very strange.
Hopefully they can
That
hear
was
us
just
and
weird.
see us.
Yeah, they should be able to. So, just strange. Very strange. Just the whole thing just blopped everything. It looked like the internet like went off. I think in my house for like 5 seconds. Yeah, because that's why your Zoom disconnected. Zoom and that. I think it was some weird. Yeah, just some strange thing there. But we are back. So, yep, back live. Yeah. So hopefully everyone is there. Sorry about that. I should update the viewer list here, which is that was really strange. So it's good to see everyone. Hope you're all well. Yeah, boom crash. Yeah, something like that, Bill. So this is all the way. It was Bill the Master Crafter's idea. So yep, we are going to have a little fun with this and make a specialty priest up from scratch. But before that, let me just make sure my tech stuff is good.
Yeah.
That looks good. That looks good. Okay. Everything looks good. So, really weird. Okay. Here, I'm going to type two things real quick into here. Yep. So, Sunday. Let me type here live after a glitch. Weirdness. Wouldn't be streaming if there wasn't weirdness. You know? All right, so people are coming back on. It was just strange. Really strange. So, okay. All right, first things first. Yep. I put this out today. This is my Facebook feed. Showing Virtual GreyHawk is only 2 weeks away. You can click on this and go to it. But I highlighted games that really need signups. So I got three Deep Dwarven Delves, all the same DM, Mystery of the Stolen Boat, Ravages of the Mind by Leonard Lakofka, that's Josh, Fury of the Bitterroot Tribe, that is Will, Strange Bedfellows, that's Von Woku, Zavad, oh my gosh, it's someone big too. My brain I just talked to him too. And then Indicus' Z, All This for a Wedding. Notice, here's what I think the problem is. 1, 2, 4 of those are between 6 and 8 o'clock Saturday night, and I think there's too many adventures on Saturday night. Yeah, it was Michael. It was some kind of bizarre internet connection. What's up, Hager? So just weirdness. I hate the weirdness. When the weirdness happens, things always go wacky and haywire. But that's part of streaming. So yeah, these are if you have an opportunity. Here's one Friday at 6 p.m., which is kind of cool. But everything else is Saturday except for the Z one, which is Sunday. There's a whole bunch of Saturday games that really could use some sign-ups. Some in the morning, some in the evening. So help them out. Help those DMs out. All right. So I post this all over Facebook. I think I put it on. I think I put it on Twitter too. So that's where we are. Yep, I know, Lando. You got a lot going on, which is great. No complaints from me. You know what I mean, man? You're doing a lot of great work there, helping out. So I appreciate it. I really do. So yeah, a New Jersey specialty. All right. So that's what's happening here. So now I got too many things open, but we're gonna risk it. If it crashes again, it crashes again. So let's start this off. The second edition the second edition player's handbook comes out. Here we go. Ah! All right, here you go. Get your books ready. Yeah. So the second edition player's handbook comes out. I'll pull that out here. And it's got some cool ideas and some ideas I can't stand. But that's the way it is with everything, right? I love the ideas of certain things that they're doing in here. I hate what they did with druids. I hate that. I hate what they did with illusionists. Oh, it's got its own sphere now. Necromancer's got its own sphere, but you can't use this sphere or that sphere. And that's why it's second edition, because it says, here's your sphere. We're not going to tell you what spells they are. You got to go look them up yourself. Great, thanks. It's just annoying, right? So what's up, Rob? The second edition book shares a lot of cool ideas on what's called a specialty priest, which is more of a priest aligned instead of just a cleric, right? It's a priest aligned toward each individual deity. Yeah, Kurt, excellent. You guys are going to get this. I think you'll love this discussion. I'm going to just tell you, how what's in the pudding. You know what I mean? That's my goal on this one. Trying to figure out what my process was. So I was been thinking about that all weekend, doing all the other stuff. But here's the Player's Handbook, second edition. And I'm like, well, how do I do this? Right? Do I have to, because you know me, so the number one thing, all right, questions, audience.
Yep.
What are some things about my classes that in my first edition that I must have? That's what I'm going to ask. Some things that I do of all my classes. Second edition was bad for a lot of things, right? It was, and you had to overcome it. But Rangers too. A couple of the things that I must have for when I do a class. I don't know. Let me fix your picture. By the way, it's.
Oh yeah, it's a little bit small there.
Yeah.
You can see the frame, but it's okay. Yeah.
Questions on that? Answers on that? My edition. What I need to do in a first edition class, because remember, all my classes are first edition. They're not second edition. That's why it's a 1E2.
I think you need to determine what races you should allow.
I do that. I do that. Yes, I do. Yeah. I do. But a lot of that's predetermined, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's predetermined by the first edition rules on that for the most part. Now they expand it. For example, a lot of people don't realize when first edition Player's Handbook came out, it was only humans, half elves were allowed to be player character clerics. Mm-hmm. Clerics were for elves and dwarves were all NPCs, which was weird.
Oh yeah,
and it's just a weird thing. Then Arthur Arcana came out and they made the change.
And then in second edition they got the demi-humans and stuff got full cleric spells and all their gods and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, but not all races, demi-human races, were allowed to be clerics. There's one that's not allowed to, as of second edition, there's one that's not allowed to be a cleric.
Must be the gnome.
Gnomes are clerics. Nope. It's a weird one. They have druids. But they don't have priests. Races, primary stats, attack tables, saving throws. I'm looking for something else, but that's it. Up to advanced dwarves and elves. Yeah, exactly, but not in first edition. Nope, not halflings. Halflings have clerics. The answer is, I'll type it in.
Probably something I don't even realize was a player class.
Oh, no, you do.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Wild elves / GREYHAWK.
Ah.
Not allowed to have clerics, priests. They had to have druids. It's a weird quirk. So, yeah first. So when this happened in second edition, Player's Handbook comes out, I'm like, I have to figure this out because I hate the cleric. We still use the cleric to this day with a lot of multi-class, triple-class characters, whatever. But I think I saw this.
You mean the generic standard cleric?
Yeah, because say you have a fighter cleric. Gazumba's a fighter cleric mage.
Yeah.
He's not so he's still got it.
So specialty priests and multi-classing is out. Your generic cleric and multi-classing.
No.
Okay.
Certain specialty priests in the rules say you're allowed to multi-class to this and this. And I'll show that to you.
So they're allowed.
It's limited.
Each specialty priest will be allowed in certain.
Yes,
combos,
absolutely.
So
and the one we're going to work on tonight allows it, and I'll show you. All right. So I had no idea what to do. Trying to figure it out. And then, this book comes out, and my prayers are answered. And I'm like, players, options, spells, and magic. These splat books, I thought that all these books were useless, right? This book was like a godsend. I want to show you how much of a godsend it is.
I need to look in mine and see, because I haven't looked in that one for 5 years at least.
I've taped this like 7 times. It is so. This is my working copy of it.
I need to find
So
it somewhere. Here we go. Spells.
yes. So we come down here, and this
Here
along
we
with
go.
yeah. There you
Here's
go.
my
You
copy.
got a
Yep.
hardback one. My hardback one's downstairs. Here's my working copy. As you can see, it has fallen. Whoops. It is.
Oh, they came in softback as well?
Yeah.
Or like
softback and hardback
softback.
both.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
falling
realize
apart.
that.
That's the one I work
Yep.
with. So I'll have to retape it up. So that and this Tome of Magic's where I get wild mages and elementalists. Now there are clerical spells in here too, so we'll be looking at some of them. But this is the book. Richard Baker. I gotta thank him next time. I didn't even realize he did this book.
Wow.
So we're gonna go to the end of this. Very end. And my life gets a whole lot easier. There's some cool things in here. So, and there are some great spells. And I want to show you some spells that if you watch my game, you know, wow, that's where he got it from. So, and if we go into these spells, we use a lot of these in our first edition game, right? These are wizards first in this. But if we come here, there's some serious clerical ones that are like from our play style are a must-have. All right, so Busted Watchfulness. We have Battle Fate. That's a chaos one. We use that a lot. Dispel Fatigue can be used, for your when you get exhausted from certain spells. Protection from Chaos is Chaos Law. Strength of Stone, a shortened one. That's a good spell. Sun Scorch, a big spell in our game. Wind Column is okay. Second, we don't use. Cure Biotic Mutants is out. I don't want to just be curing factories. But here we go. Third level. Biggest one of our game is right here in this book. I thought it was here. Oh, call myself a liar. There it is. Repair Injury. The Repair Injury spell, which I've used. That's what Rasmus had. The Repair Injury spell, which I've used for since this book came out. It incidentally restores 1d10 plus 1 hit points or a specific injury. Broken bone. Twisted ankle. Dislocated shoulder. Critical hit that renders you immobile. This spell, third level, is a mainstay, along with Death's Door, which comes out in Arcana First Edition. It's a mainstay of our healer. Don't go home without this, because if you're going to take a critical hit or you're going to fumble and you're going to break your arm when you fall, this is the spell to heal it. So now it can't heal removed limbs. It can't heal. There's certain things it can't do. Certain spells, really you need a healer better. But this spell does a lot of those damages that we have with the critical hits in our game and fumbles. So, Absalom, I understand that you hated the Tome of Magic, but I love it because two spellcasters that really enhance my game. All right, so spells in here, but we got to get to the end of this book. Appendix 3. Here we go. This is where we start making the brew. This has all the spheres for clerics and priests and even druids. So this is where, and it tells you where the spell is. It's either in Unearthed Arcana or second edition Player's Handbook. If it's underlined, it is in this book. If it's in bold, it's in Tome of Magic. And here's where we can start figuring out what spells go into your priest list. All right, so we'll get back to this. Well, that doesn't mean no more broken bones. But if you have broken bones from 3 different hits, it's only going to heal one of them. For example, if anyone saw the most catastrophic fumble from my NPC last Saturday, I'm sorry, that was Thursday night. The priest, where she tore her Achilles, broke her arm, split her knee, and then knocked herself out for 12 rounds because you had to roll it 10 times. It was nasty. So her repair injury, she only healed one of them, the torn Achilles. So yeah, that was fun. All right, from here to here. By the way, feel free to ask questions at any point. Okay. This is my first real tutorial one, Anna. Hopefully it goes well here. All right, so let me bring this up. I thought I had it up already, but I don't see it. Oh, it is. Okay. Current list. What's up, Egan? Yeah, Lando, just put it in. Just put it in there, man. Put it as a third level spell. It's not gonna hurt anything. Here is my currently up to date completed list. Based the deity. Not all these are GREYHAWK. And remember, back in 1980, we had clerics worshiping a lot of Finnish deities, Celtic deities, um, the general alignment, and the predominant races. So if you come down, I don't think we have a single halfling only one here. We don't have a single halfling one here, but Ula can be halfling. That's one of them. But yeah, so there are a couple in here that halflings can worships. So the marks here also. This little mark, the star. NPC priest only. It's in this list. Don't even think about playing it. Right? Here you go. The bad guy one, which includes Wastri, which includes Narol, Leviator, one of my favorites. Ayuz, Erithnol, and the Earth Dragon. There's a little mark here next to Alana, and I think there's another one next to Zerbo. The deity allows for specialty priests to be either of the druid or clerical variety. So you have two different options for those. But we're only going to stick with the clerical aspect on it. Yeah, they put a lot of gods in there, but we use certain ones. So from this list, I have, 40 some already created. I have this book here with all of them. And this book here, which has all these. This book you see is always on the table. Someone's pulling it out because they need access to spells and stuff. Now, what do? We got to do three things. We got to figure out if we're going to make a priest, does it fit in the campaign? What spells do they have? What special abilities do they have? Spell-like effect abilities. So we got to figure all that out. Now, we start some research. Let's do our research. Research paper. Here's all my research. So, anyone know where this is coming from? This says Branda Barris. Where is this coming from? And look, there's Shield. Oh, I gave it away. This is Roger Moore's Halflings article, Halfling Gods. So we're going to do a little background research on this. Yeah, thank you, Mythical. I really busted it, man. And I want variety for my character, for my players. And I want. Alan actually has a Branda Barris priest. I haven't made it, and it's like a year and a half overdue. So this is just perfect. All right, so Dragon 59. I'm just going to do a little research here, just to make sure that and this is Gods of the Halflings. So it talks about Branda Barris, and it's kind of weird because it starts here, but it finishes up down here. So he's the master of stealth. It doesn't say much here about about being a priest as much as some of the other ones do, but here it always says, and especially daring. Here's something really cool. And especially daring risk that pays off is looked upon favorably by a band of bears who might reward the perpetrator of such a daring act, but only once in a halfling's lifetime. So as not to encourage the mortal to be too foolhardy. So there you go. 10 halfling of 10th level or lower, and then halfling thieves cannot achieve this reward. So there you go. So they get a boon, a once in a lifetime boon. That's kind of cool. And then he wanders a prime material, and you may come across him. So not too much information there, right? But let's go to place number 2. So that's okay. So I'm going to close that one out. Oh, we're going to, this is page 39. Number 2. If you can't get this in hard copy, if you can't get this book in hard copy, it's really difficult. We're going to just get it in PDF.
Yeah, but it's okay. A great book.
It's a great book. Now, we're going to be, don't burn me, everyone.
Uh-oh. Oh, you mean Forgotten Realms?
But we're going to be checking out some of these too. All right. I'll show you why. So, and you don't do this with GREYHAWK deities. You don't have to do this, but this, since Brandon Barris is a demi-human deity, it's gonna cross over into and as a Forgotten Realms deity. So we're gonna go to page 39 here of Monster Mythology, and we're gonna get some more data here, some good data, right? All right. Now we get some good stuff because it's going to give us some things we need for being a specialty priest. All right, so it talks about Brandon Barris, role playing notes, the avatar, and here's what we need here: the duties of the priesthood. Now, very important here. Gives you your requirements. So what I'm going to do is when I create this sheet up for them, and let me bring up just one that hood of let me bring up let's go Tritherian. Just to show you what I'm talking about. Why isn't that coming up? Oh, you know why? Because I'm not searching in all AD&D here. So Tritherion. All right, that should come up. That's one of the things I did not put in my folder, and I should have. All right, that's not it, you dumbass. Okay. Completed and approved. Let's go priesthood. You know why a lot of them are not? Here we go. Priesthood. Which one I want to do? Let's do this. Just do Ula. Okay. Priesthood and of Ula powers and abilities. I'm going to create my own sheet, which is going to mimic the top of this. So when you see that and I go this, see it's going to have all this here, right? So this is the standard ability. All right, so there'll be a minimum on that. So if we go back now to this priesthood of Ula, yep, that's it. That's it, Michael. So here's your requirements. It's going to be dexterity 13, and then probably wisdom 13, dexterity 13. The prime wisdom is prime requisite is going to be wisdom and dex, which means both of them are going to have to be 16 or better for them to get 5% bonus experience, because especially priests get negative 5% experience because it takes longer for them to go up than standard clerics. It'll have the weapons and other things here. So it's all here. All right. And then it has some special abilities here. And this is where, okay, but we're going to show some other things. Here's the most important part of this. Here are your spheres, SP spheres. Sphere of all. An asterisk means it's a lesser. Majors are all. They're charm, creation, and protection. This book is out before the player's option book, so we got a problem with this. Minors of animal, combat, divination, guardian, and healing. Okay. Once again, I got so much here. So many things. My final is going to be a hair different than that, and I'll explain, because I don't agree all the time, and we can make a lot of our own choices, as you can see, and I'll tell you what I've done. As you can see, I've highlighted some differences there. So we're gonna make a couple changes. You could say for the worse, for the better, but we're gonna make some changes. Next, let's go to this book. And this is page 203. I can't believe how big these books are. Demi-Human Deities. This is Eric Boyd's book. Now, I have a major problem with something in these books. The spell lists are tremendously huge because they give out way too many spheres. Way too many. So we come here to Brandon Barris. I'm going to print this out, though, which I've already done, because I'm going to utilize this, and I'm going to utilize this. So this is all the Brandon Barris stuff. This is going to go in the folder. What's up, darling? Hope you're doing well. All right. What's up, Josh? Here's the church. Specialty priests. Now, they really go into depth. Oh, you know what? Shit. It would be nice if I showed you this. Okay. So this is specialty priests are called misadventurers. All right, that's cool. But look at this. All those spheres that were minor now are major, and he's added extra spheres. It's too much. The priest list is going to be like 2 pages. I don't need that. I mean, this is crazy. But they do. This is the problem. All of them are like this. I think they're trying to make because some of them are super powerful. It's too much. So, but there are also spheres here that didn't exist in the other book. In particular, and if you come now to player's option, there are. If you go into the back of this, these did not exist. Here you go. These did not exist. Dimension, mentalism, shadow, alchemy, artifice, geometry, song, wild. It's wrong. It's wrong. No wonder. I'm in the wrong section. I'm an ass. Sorry. Here we go. Duh. My bad. Here we go. Numbers planted. Numbers did not exist. Thought, time, war, words. Travelers. They didn't exist. Notice they're all black. They're all Tome of Magic spells, right? So there's a lot of these spheres that didn't exist then. Sun also has been added. On this is where I don't agree. Why would a priest of Brandon Barris get major access? There's none here, as you can see, because it didn't exist on Sun Sphere. But we go to demi-human deities, and he has them with major to Sun. That's like Baylor and Fultus. Why would Brandon Barris have major to Sun? It makes no sense. Gone. So I've nixed that one. As you can see, I've blacked it out right there. I've also made a lot of those minor. I've also got rid of time. I don't understand why they'd have time. But one that they should have is travelers, because Brandon Barris priests are traveling around the planet. So the travelers one we're keeping. So that leads to the following. I've hybridized both. This is your decision, by the way. You can decide which ones. And if you guys think I made a mistake, I'd love you to hear your input. We're going back to monster mythology. So from this, there are no changes in here except for one. I love the list that's done here in monster mythology. The majors are the following, right? And they're right here. All, charm, creation, protection, and then travelers, which was not in existence. All right, and then all the others are minors: animal, combat, divination, guardian, healing. All right. Now, question: what is the difference between a major sphere and a minor sphere? See if anyone in the game knows. Watch.
I remember that. I don't remember that. So let's see here.
Anyone know? I bet you Moku knows. Nope.
I was thinking.
Yes. Absalom got it. Yeah. Valmoku got it.
Oh, you mean, the spells they can cast.
Yeah. So in a minor sphere, you get up to the third level. Major, you get 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th if you're eligible for 7th. Brandon Barris doesn't get 7th level spells. He's a demigod.
Yeah, because priest spells don't go to 9th level. They only go to 7th level.
They only go to 7th, yeah.
That was the 3rd edition thing when they moved up to 9th level.
So Brandon Barris is prime material plane. If he wasn't, he would only get 5th. But his prime material plane is his main, so he gets up to 6th level spells. So all these stars now will get for 2nd and 3rd level, and then the ones that are major on here will get up to 7th, 6th. Right. Okay. Now we'll do the spell thing in a little bit. Let's go back to, we need the demi-human deities for something. So this is they're called misadventures. Let's look at this. Everyone, their alignment that is allowed for the priest. So I'm going to put that into my master chart. Neutral, good, neutral, chaotic, neutral. Makes sense. That makes sense. No evil for Brandon Barris. The weapons are allowed, the armor are allowed. I'm putting that all in there. I'm putting the spheres in as I've changed them. Magical items, proficiencies, I don't have required or ones in that because I'm not doing the 2nd edition. So, misadventures must be halflings. Well, it's a halfling specialty priest class. It can be any halfling subrace. Here it is, Anna. Misadventures are allowed to multi-class as a specialty priest thief. So right there, they can multi-class. That's the class they can do, which makes sense. So, spheres are good in theory, but on practice, each sphere has a bundle of spells. Spell Fontaine makes sense for given. Expellus, I agree, which is why I create a list. If I had to keep track of these what they could throw at me, I'm screwed. Every priest has its own list, just like in Undertakaner, just like so they are going to get a list created, which I'm going to modify and edit, and some they will get and some they won't, right? So that's the whole.
That's actually in Hawktails, instead of a list, I call them domains. When you join like a proper church or a religious organization,
Right.
so to speak, you become a cleric. Then you can either become if you have a divine spell casting ability, you can either be pact magic, meaning you ask your whatever demon lord or god or whatever, and you get individual spells. You can learn an spell by spell, or you can be a domain magic. That means that you learn the whole domain. You get all of them. That's basically you get your spell list, and you can pick
Right.
and memorize from them, so to speak.
But what are the spells?
That depends on that. That's what I do for each deity.
Right. But what are the spells? Where are they getting it from? What books are they allowed to have access to?
Oh no, I don't have any books. I tell them this domain has these spells. There's no books nowhere. That's the beauty of creating.
Well, that's the same thing with me. That's why I have the list. All right, but how many spells are in each level?
It depends on the god. Meaning some gods are very powerful, and for instance, if you have some gods are much more powerful, so to speak. They can give you lots of spells, and some gods are very magic poor, meaning they only give you a few spells. So and you might be a demon lord, might not have many spells at all, but they might give you other things. So it depends on your gods. So if you like if you hang on a second, the god of magic now, the uncaring Bokov, yeah. So if you then you can basically have all the wizard spell list. You get tons of spells plus some clerics. So that's a god that gives you lots of it.
You get the wizard spell list. What wizard spell list?
Oh, meaning you simply
D&D 5th edition book, any accessory splat books.
No, you see, I don't. Hawktail is its own system. There's no.
You have all the spells done individually.
I've done 300 spells so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So you get like a ton of stuff, and you can learn, but then you have to learn them as a wizard, so to speak, and then you get the basic. But the domain gives you like a set of spells when you become a cleric or priest of whatever deity or it is.
Okay.
Or you can say, I'm going to serve that dragon, or I'm going to serve a demon lord, or something like that. Then you get like pact magic, and you can kind of nibble and say, oh, I can get this spell, or I can get that spell individually.
We haven't counted them, but our estimate is between 3,000 and 5,000 spells. That's a guess.
Yeah.
Counting all the spells and all the classes, it's probably closer to 5,000.
Yeah, I think I put in 330 spells.
That's a good start.
So far. It's a decent start. But
you don't have 28 adventuring groups to worry about. You got to have
the rules are only in alpha yet, so it's about 300. But I'm getting there. So yeah.
All right, so here's some cool things. So the Brenda Barris priests can get, thieves can't. Yeah, so Razmataz, for me, I am going to dictate where these spells are coming from, and I'll show you that.
Yep.
Because I don't.
348 spells.
Okay, that's a great start. If I had to make these all or convert them all, well, I guess I have, but yeah.
Well, yeah, you have already, but you've done it over 40 years.
They are, Rich Fellas. That's why you got to make changes. You cannot have druid spells in the priest list unless it makes sense. There's a ton of them. I agree with you on the reincarnate. I don't have a single priest that can reincarnate unless they're a druid base, right? That's what you got to do. So, like for example, fairy fire, that's a druid spell. You got to throw that out unless there's a reason they should have it for that class. If they're elvish, I think they should have it, an elvish priest, and they have the sphere that it's in. All right, so here comes your abilities once per day. So now I have to make a decision. I have to make a decision on what I'm going to allow and what I'm not here. So this is spell-like effects in addition to spells. So it says misadventurers can cast Featherfall or Spider Climb once per day. I got no problem with that. All right. This is stuff you don't have to pray for. Right? At third level, they can cast fine traps or silence 15-foot radius once per day. I'm getting rid of the silence 15-foot radius. I think I'd just like the fine traps. I like that because I think the silence 15-foot radius just doesn't make sense for them. It's not like they're hiding. That's a kind of an offensive spell, so we're going to get
Well,
rid of that.
yeah, it needs to be thematically
Yeah,
tied to the deity.
absolutely.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you choose from only the ones that are published as cleric spells, or like, or do you
No, not
look into the
necessarily.
wizard list as well?
Well, it depends on like the deity here. It depends
Uh-huh.
on the
Yeah.
deity itself. Like Ouija has a
Mhm.
bunch of necromancer spells. Has
Yeah.
access to necromancer spells. All right. So, and this, as we keep here, at third level, they can create an illusionary call. I like this. This is cool. Calling card once per day. So, if they steal something, they can have an illusion calling card of an apple or their symbol saying,
Mhm.
I was here. And then once it's touched, it melts away into nothingness. I really like this idea. That's a genius idea. So, that's going into my priest. I love that idea.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, next one. Misadventures can cast invisibility or knock once per day. Knocks out.
Okay.
Invisibility's in. They can cast invisibility once per day. I'm still a little. I guess that's okay, but I'm going to keep that. Seventh, deep pockets. Yeah, sure. Once per day. 10th, fumble or undetectable lie. Either or. I kind of like both those. Fumble's a powerful spell. That's a wizard spell, by the way. Fumble. It's not a cleric spell. It's a wizard spell. So they're getting a wizard spell right there. But it's a 10th level. And then lastly, legend lore as a 6th level wizard once per 10 day. Okay, we're gonna keep those. Anyone have any beef with those? I think I'm getting rid of a couple, but I'm gonna keep those special abilities in. I love the calling card. It's a really cool thing. So sometimes there's some really really neat things that get thrown um, into here, and it's the first time I was like, wow, that's cool, because it adds a lot of role play. Like that person was here who's leaving. Why the wizard spells? Because sometimes a wizard spell fits for a priest. Fumble is kind of a funny effect spell. Yeah, right here, it's kind of a funny spell. So, and this was done by Eric Boyd. So I love what he does with the special effects abilities. I hate too many spheres. Right. So, Tui does need a lot of work. He does. I've done it.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of it. So,
Well,
yeah.
when you start making your own kind of heavily house ruled or version of D&D, it is a heck of a lot of work. I've been at it for over 3 years now, and now I'm starting to get close to.
Yeah.
Now it's playable. It's playable now. It's not complete, but low level is playable, and mid
Yeah,
level
it's
is soon
exciting.
playable.
It's
Oh
exciting.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it takes a long time. And my big thing when I go into spells is that what conduit, meaning should they be arcane, divine, and primal, or all three, or only some of them, so to speak, meaning healing magic that creates life and hit points and resurrects. That's only a low level primal and divine, and high level only divine. With arcane magic don't create life. That's one of my pet peeves, so to speak, is that it doesn't heal hit points, and it can't create life.
No,
Only
it's
the
kind of
gods can do it.
they say
Exactly.
that in the Necromancer book. Like
Yeah.
there's one called Wound
Mhm.
Closure. The 1 to
Yeah.
5 4 to points is incidental.
Yeah.
It's incidental healing. No,
Exactly. So
no, I
that's
agree
one of
that.
the
I agree that.
So I want to keep that as a
Yeah.
D&D tradition, so to speak. So that means that almost the gods can almost every spell. There are few exceptions, but almost every spell can be cast as a divine spell, meaning gods can learn almost every magic and give almost every type of magic depending on what it is. But gods can be very and deities and patrons, I call them, all sorts of powerful beings that hand over spell powers to their underlings. That almost every spell can theoretically be a divine spell. It depends on what god you have, so to speak.
So, Rex Wallace, you got
Yep.
two options. And
Yeah.
one is done by me and one's done by Eric Boyd.
Okay.
The first is the Knight class, which we talked about in a previous show. It's a hybrid of a paladin kind of and a priest. where they wear heavy armor and they can use lances if they want to, and they can use weapons of the deity. And the experience table is rough, and they have limited lesser spellcasting ability than a priest. They have special abilities, and there you go. That's option number one. What's up, Jeremy? Jeremy, I got all the books, man. Those boxes are freaking heavy, man. Man, they are super heavy. Jeremy gave me a ton of novels, of the RPG novels. I'll be giving some of them away. I'm probably gonna give a lot of them away during the fundraiser. Excuse me. All right, that's number one for you, Rex fellas. Okay, the knight class. Make up your own knight. I have 4 of them. Number 2. Man, tickle cough. We're going to go to another book by the great Eric Boyd. No cover show. All right, first thing, Rick Fellas. Knight. Second one. This is not done. Damn, I may have to get something. I don't have any of my sucker things.
Cough drop or something. Yep.
Second thing. Let me see if I have it on here. It's on page. Go to Faiths and Avatars. Page 184 of Faiths and Avatars. Okay. Class. The Crusader. Okay. There it is. That'll solve your problem. And let me show it to you. It is, I think, another. Does anyone else use Crusader besides me? Valmoku may. He may use Crusader. So it's mine, Rick Fellis. Night class is mine. Valmoku's made one. I made 4. So it's a hybrid of a paladin and a specialty priest. If you want to know where to get the basis from, I thought you did, Michael. Rex Fellis, look at the Knights of the Rose. Take one of those, and then you can mess it with it right off of that. Knights of the Rose from Dragonlance. I think we just did a show, and I talked about that just recently, right, Anna?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. All right.
It rings a bell somewhere. Yeah.
Let me type up Crusader here and see what we got. See if I have this Crusader. These are straight class Crusader class. I put it onto my own form. So it's a subclass of cleric / specialty priest. They may not multi-class. Here's their requirements. This is all right from the Eric Boyd part in Faiths and Avatars. If strengths and wisdom are both 16 or better, using normal experience table, that's no bonus. Here it's on cleric, but at minus 10% experience. Look at this. All right, so they're acquired and gained as cleric with a wisdom bonus applies. There are going to be 2 spell lists. That's it. They're combative priests. So they have a spell list, and I have it all on one page. There's one and there's chaos spells and law spells mixed in. Notice the alignments. Most of them they got to be lawful or chaotic. They use the fighter table for attacks and gaining weapon rate, and the cleric table for saving throws. They also get con bonus, but they get die 8. And at 3 every 2 at 8th level, and they get 1 specialization. They also get the abilities of Lightning Load and Easy March. So you'll see some of these Crusaders in my game. And look, there's just an abilities. You can make it a Crusader of Ius, Crusader of Fultus, Tritharian, Erroneous. If you want to play one of these armored, they're almost like a paladin, but they're 1 step below a paladin because they're like a champion of their deity. That's what these are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. And then they have 2 lists. Well, 1 list joined together. So we've got Crusader spells. Here's your Crusader spell list. It looks just like one of my priest ones. And the dots, the tilde is Chaos Sphere, and the star is a Law Sphere. So there you go. And everything else they both get. So, yep. All the way up. All right. Take a look. That gives you your option of exactly what you were looking for, both make a knight or make a crusader. All right. Yep. Yeah, they can use so. The great thing about them is if they find a holy weapon of their deity, they should be able to use it, right? So say I'll give you an example. Say Ayuz has some kind of a weapon, a morning star of level draining that was created by one of his Althea Haga, and they found a cache and they come across it. The Crusader can use that weapon, right? There you go, as an example. Or you have a Crusader of an elven deity, and you find an elven bow with all these special abilities on it from Solnar Thalandra, or even if you're using if you use an Uller from Norse mythology, there's a Crusader could use that weapon because it's of the deity. So nope. Specialization, they don't get multiple attacks. Rick Sauce, they only get 3 attacks every 2 rounds at 8th. They're not getting 2 every 1. Only at 8th level. So they are not. They cannot turn undead. They're not. They are not clerics. They are crusaders. They don't get turned undead. Yep. Just look it up. Look it up in the book. Look it up here. Right? In the back of the book. Eric did a great job with it. I like it. So yeah, it is. It is a sure way to annoy your characters like crazy. All right, so we're back to this. We're going to create a branded barracks. You're going to have neutral good. They're going to have neutral and character neutral alignments allowed. All right, we already have their special abilities. We already know what their requirements are and all, because that's going to be all right here. So we're going to go to demi-human deities. It's all right here. So we don't need to remake this. We don't need this. So here's your weapons. Short sword's your biggest weapon. It's all going to be little person weapons. Leather, padded leather, studded leather, elven chain. That makes total sense for a thief type class. And then, like I said, we changed their spheres here. They can turn undead. They cannot. They do not get turning undead. So we get a monster mythology here. You see here, turn undead. It should say nil somewhere here. TU, right here. See, that's TU nil. They do not turn undead. All right. Slings can be very bad, especially halflings. Halflings get an 8+3 to hit with slings and short bows, then their dex bonus. So an 18 dexterity halfling, an old school, is +6 to hit with a sling or a short bow. To start. Yeah. Whip's cool too. So there. All right. What do we do from here? Here comes the magic. I need to get from all this crap to a spell list. So number one, I'm going to take it. Went through and looked for something that's close, and that is another thieving deity, Iravan Elisir. I don't have to remake the world here, the Elven God of thievery. So I can use this list, and I can't do this because it's in the PDF. I got to bring up the other list here. But I can do this and make changes to this as we go. I've done that already. If I can find where I put that. Here it is. All right. So I'll show this as we go. I'll get on a bigger screen here. There you go. So notice I've already really gotten into, look, the yellow highlights, they're spells that are the same in the class because of the spheres. All right, so we got a lot of work here that I've done. I did it ahead of time. So what do? Got you back, Enoch. You would play especially pieces of Illustrated EXT? Well, I have it. Right there. It's done. For GREYHAWK. Yeah, it'd be nice for me to show you. I keep on. I'm always trying to show people on the wrong screen, man. Illustrated right there.
Yeah.
We have it. It's done. You need a template, Jeff. This whole process takes 4 to 6 hours. So I was watching football. Thank God the Eagles won, came back and won. But it takes So I got this process going while I was watching the football game today, yelling and screaming until the final minute of the game, and they won. So yeah. All right. Back to this. Here we go. What do you do? Frexalis, this is where you got a good. I'm not blatantly just writing all these in. There are these what do they call it? Combined spells with multiples. We don't use them, so I'm not putting them in the list. So here we go. First thing, all. So bless, combine, that goes on. Detect magic goes on. We don't use orison. Purify food and drink. Chant at second level. Mystic transfer we use. Mystic transfer. Sanctify is on the list. Dispel magic at third goes on the list. Remove curse goes on the list. Don't use focus. Don't use uplift. Atonement at fifth goes on the list. Commune goes on the list. Meld we use as well. That goes on the list. I missed that one. True Seeing at fifth goes on the list. Speak with monsters at sixth. They don't get seventh. All right. So I've started doing highlights of all right, on here. And I just highlighted them because everyone else here has that as well. All right. Sure, man. Next one. So we're going on this list here. One at a time. This is good, except we got to add travelers at the end. I've gone all the way up to. I've done this. I stopped at Guardian. All right. So when I get to animal, I look on the list here in this book. Right here, animals next. It's a druid one, but I think they should have animal at lower, and it's only lesser. So they get all these ones here because they tend to have halflings tend to have a way with smaller dogs and smaller things. I have no problem with these. These aren't a lesser sphere, so I haven't negated it. What's up there, Garner? Thanks. I know you didn't have a game today. I know your daughter had a talk show. Very cool. I caught some of it while I was prepping and watching football here. So it's good to see you, man. Okay. By the way, we do a Classic D&D reprint giveaway. All right, so I added all these to the list. Let me see if there's anything else up top here. Nope. This down, they don't get any of that. That is druidic, and it's major, so they don't get it. It's a minor sphere for them. So I add them all to the list, highlighted them. Actually, I had to write a lot of them in on the side because everyone else here doesn't get them. So see how I'm melding an old list and a new list together? That's what I'm doing. I'm writing down all the stuff I got to add in, and anything that's not highlighted is not in there as of yet. So continuing to go. Next one. We go back here, and we go to Charm, Major Sphere. Big one for them. Charm. All these spells they get except the sevenths because they can only cast up to 6. Command, remove fear, Sanctuary, and Thrall. Hold person, big spell. Music of the Spheres. Snake Charm is out. It's nope. I give them Snake Charm, even though they're not going to use it. They're not going to use it. Dictate, yes. Emotion Control. Cloak of Bravery. Free Action, a big spell in our game. Makes you immune to hold person. That's 4th level. That's major. Imbue with Spell Ability is a really cool spell. Very few people use it, and then Command Monster at 6th. So there. That's our major sphere of charm. Added into the list. I think everyone else here gets that too. So now we go back here, and next we do Divination Minor, and then Guardian Minor, right? So if we just want to look at those real quick at what they are. Divination, they're over here. Minor of Divination, whoops. So they're going to get the following spells. And these I had to handwrite them in because everyone didn't have them. Analyze Balance, Detect Evil, Detect Poison, Augury, Detect Charm, Find Traps, Detect Spirits, Extradimensional Detection, Locate Objects, Speak with Dead. Boom, ends there because they don't have major to charm. They only have a minor. So that one, or they have major to that. Wait a minute, let me see. 4th. I'll know just by looking here. Divination. Nope. So it was a minor, right? Yep. Minor Divination. Minor Guardian. Minor. See how tedious this is?
Yeah, but you only need to do it once per class.
once per time. Yeah, and it's done.
Yeah. And
Well,
then you have the class.
unless I'm bringing new spells in, then I
Well, then
gotta
yeah, then you
yeah
have to so I mean when you invent a spell or find a spell, you have to figure
yeah.
out which spell list it's supposed to go into, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a win's a win. That's all I care about. A win's a win. So Guardian, you get spells all the way up to. And notice Repair Injury is here, but it's going to be on the healing one too. So I don't know if I did Guardian. Yeah, I did Guardian up to, and then we got Busted Washroom, Snow Poison, Cure Blindness. You know what? I never finished that one. I did it first and seconds. I got tied up. Let's see. I don't use Cure Moderate Wounds because I don't want them being a healing factory. So Slow Poison. No, I didn't do it for Guardian. Slow Poison, Cure Blindness, Cure Disease. Highlight it. It's already on the list. Hold Poison. Repair Injury. Huge spell, right, for us. It's also going to be under healing. Or if it isn't, it should be. And that's it, because now here's a little trick. I give them Cure Serious Wounds, not Healing Circle. So if they have a major in healing, they're going to get the Healing Circle spell from Player's Option Book, because I have a lot of those added in. I mean, from the Relic and Rituals, but they don't get it unless they have a major in healing. So, all right, that's Guardian. What questions does anyone have at this point? I know it sounds like a convoluted, complicated mess, but at the end, it creates a really cool class. It's done, right? I just got to type it up, and I got that's it. It's simple. What questions does anyone have on the process here? Because for me, I'm anal. So the last thing I want to have happen. Why did you give them spells they aren't going to use, like Snake Charm? Oh, because someone enterprising may use it. I was Garner. I was busting my players' stones by saying that. Right? That's what it is. I was busting my guys, knowing that. They tend to be. Yeah, that was a bust. Someone may use it. Like Tim would use it. If you're done, what will we do with it? Hey, we're not done. I haven't finished. I'm just asking you. Can they have Summon Swarm? That's very useful. Well, okay. That is called Summon Insects, right? And I got to find it. Great question. Oh, because that's on combat or animal. Here it is. It's summon. So if we go to, that's a great question. Summon Insects is here. Summon Insects, Summon Swarm. They have animal third, so they get it. So yeah, they get that spell. Why not add a couple other special abilities based on Boyd's bonus proficiencies? I give them disguise, like the assassin ability. Because I don't have assassins have the disguise ability. It's something that's implied in my game. I don't have a list of non-weapon proficiencies because that is too much. Tim uses non-weapon proficiencies. I don't. I don't want to get into the weeds that much. That's a lot. That's a lot. So I don't need to have them add that in. If they want to disguise themselves, I will let them do that. Make sense? Yeah. It's available up to 3rd level if they have that sphere and minor sphere. It's available up to 6th or 7th, depending on 7th level if they have a lesser or greater god. 6th level demigod on the prime material. Yep. Yeah, I just I don't want to go too much into the weeds. I don't. Tim uses that's a big difference between the two of us. He uses non-weapon proficiencies. I don't. That doesn't mean that they're not in existence. Someone uses non-weapon proficiencies, they may as well play with it. So, yeah. Okay. It's a great question though. Summon Insect has been written on here. There's some spells like Prayer that Irvin Elliser didn't have. Now, we're not done. I only use a small handful, then maybe like 10. Well, right, 10 now. When one of your players asks, well, what about this? What about this? Are you going to add it? And then remember, we have a feats list that goes into the proficiency system. Correct? Turn undead is turn undead. No different. They don't get turn undead. There are certain, not all priests can turn undead. Priest of Bakab can't turn undead, right? Here's a weird one. Priests of Ouija cannot control undead if they're evil. Ouija does not want them doing it, so they can't. They can turn it or have them ignore them, but they can't. They can't control undead. So, yeah, okay. What's up, Curtis? I'm assuming they won, Curtis, right? No, I'm not going to because it's right. No, because they have other abilities. Maybe you missed that part. Maybe you missed that part. They get all these abilities once per day, or whatever it's stated, with some minor changes. Here you go. Feather fall or spider climb, find traps, the calling card, invisibility or knock. I got rid of knock. Invisibility, deep pockets. These are spell-like abilities that they get. So they get a whole bunch of things, other ones. No way. I was kidding. How did they lose to the Rams? I'm sorry. I know they got a lot of people that's out injured. Wow. Sorry, man. Ooh. Dallas lost too. I'm assuming there's no way they came back, right? Sorry for any of you Dallas fans out there. By the way, a classic D&D reprint giveaway. Yeah. All right. So Anna,
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're going to continually add spells as you go.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I have a long list of the more spells to add, so to speak. So I put in and and just like you, I have to start figuring out what lists they should go on, meaning what domain should they be available?
Right.
Are they divine spells, arcane spells, primal spells, or any of the combinations, so to speak, depending on. And then there's some spells. I have Clemency is a spell school that is healing spells. Otherwise, I have to make sure that I get what spell school, what strain is it, meaning what kind of power is it using, because that might be affected
Right.
by certain of the rules. So these are the things I have to add in and converting spells. And I also have to consider because a lot of spells have, depending on if you have school specialization, meaning how do you spells, meaning you can either cast a spell using a higher spell slot to get a better effect. For instance, a lightning
blue
bolt
box.
do more damage and stuff.
Oh, so you can metacast.
Yeah, exactly. You metacast. There's several ways of doing it. If you're just a straight caster and have no specialization, you can simply use a higher level spell slot, and you can do more damage or get longer duration.
All right, so they don't have any special abilities to do that. You're allowing that.
Oh yeah, I allow. Yeah, anyone can do that. If you have a higher level spell slot, you can cast a fireball as a 4th level spell, for instance, and then each spell that has the ability of getting better as you upcast it. Then there's another way of upcasting, so to speak. That is, if you are an evoker, for instance, you specialize in evocation spells. That means that you can upcast without. It's still a 3rd level spell, and he only uses a 3rd level spell slot. But if you're a specialist, that means that you can add extra damage dice to them.
Right, all right, that's wizards though.
Yeah, no, okay. But yeah, I don't know class. Arcane casters. If you have if you're specialized in arcane evocation spells, so the arcane evocation school, then you can upcast them. But there's also another way of doing it. That is that you can also, if you learn the elemental strain spells, you can also get them boosted the same way, so to speak. So
you're talking wizards though.
No,
not clerics.
Well, clerics and wizards are anyone who casts arcane spells might be able to call themselves wizards. If you cast divine spells, then it's up to your deity what they you allow, so to speak. Some deities, some deities, or really kind of religious cults or whatever, then you can't do an arcane school if you cast divine spells, unless your deity is specializing in it, so to speak. Then you can do it, but you can do a strain increase. So that means that there will be all the spells that use ethereal or
Okay.
shadow or something like that. They can get better. But you can also specialize in the energy. So you can say, I want to be really good at fire spells or lightning spells or poison spells. And then you can use a bigger damage die. That's something casters can do too. And that's both clerics and or whatever. So arcane casters or divine casters or primal casters. You can all do that. But that means that it's all taken out of your XP budget. So meaning if you do something, then that means that there's something else you can't do.
I'm going to ask a
Yeah.
question.
Mhm.
Aren't you worried about min-maxers?
Oh yes, I'm very worried about min-maxers. That's why I'm
Okay.
doing it this way. So yeah, meaning you can max out something and say that, oh, I want to be the master at casting fireballs, and you will be the best
Right.
caster in the world to cast fireballs. But that means that there will be a lot of stuff you will not be able to do because you spend so
Okay.
much in XP on learning to cast fireballs or get expert at fire spells. Or you can be the best at a very narrow thing, but that means that then you have to sacrifice a whole lot of width or depth of your character. You become really good at something, but that also means that then you will lose combat prowess, or you will have no armor thing, or you will be terrible at casting divinations
Okay.
and stuff like that. So, or you will have a small hit die because they have, yeah. So if you want to be a caster, meaning you can stay at home and say, I want to guard the castle, and I'm the master at casting lightning bolts, and you can be that, and then you're really tough when it comes to that. You can cast the biggest lightning bolts, but that means that you have to sacrifice something else. So because you never get a whole package, you have
Okay.
to, yeah. So it is, and that is a risk, and I
Yeah.
might have to tweak it a little bit, but I don't think if you really want that super specialized character, then you will be difficult to have on adventures.
Well, that's the whole thing. Is that
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So, but hey,
Yeah.
you gotta keep on play testing and you work
Oh
out the
yeah, and
kinks. Yeah.
also it's a
Hmm.
system that you need to be a little bit careful what you're asking for, because you can do builds that will lead you to astray, so to speak. So it's also something that I meaning, and also as a GM, I will not let someone sit at home and simply look at the rule book and put together whatever concoction they think this will be and then allow it at the table. No, it's something that, meaning building your character is something you do while you're
Okay.
playing, not sitting at home and say, oh, I come with this character, now I'm going to play this no matter what. So it's always a dialogue, but that is a risk. But then you will be very narrow, which means that you will be able to do a heck of a lot of fire damage, but you will not be able to do much else.
Quick question for Rob.
Yeah.
Rob, Bastion of Faith has 2 completed specialty priests in it, which you don't need to make many changes on.
Yeah.
So, and Bastion of Faith here is the Hextor one, Battle Scourges. It's all here. Notice it's in the same format because Eric Boyd did this for this book. So it tells you all their abilities. It has special spells. We haven't gotten to the special Brandabara spells yet.
Yeah.
And then if we go way up into the middle of here, there's one for Heronius. So yes, then there's all the Heronius spells. And if you notice, here's a neat thing I do to get these spells beyond just the priest. And here is a Heronius, right? Here's the Heronius Church. Where's the priest? Right here. Especially priest glory axes. Sorry. So yeah, so Bastion of Faith is a great book, but they're done. So you tweak them a little bit. Perfect. Heronius and Hextor. Yeah. So yeah, earlier on, a couple things. John said, "Where's all this coming from?" And I'll get that to you. And also, someone else said, "Everyone's a min-maxer at heart." Well, if it's written down, then it's a lot more difficult to, in my opinion, to min-max out. That's why I want uniqueness. I want freshness. I want every priest to be different and have a little bit of a quirk to it that's different than another one, right?
Yeah,
And
and
that's
I want to
yeah,
allow a certain min-maxing so to speak, in that sense that I want them to min-max to some degree. That's this one of the main reasons I'm doing Hawktails classless, because I want people to cherry pick what they want to learn and then skip other
Okay.
stuff. So that's one thing. But also we have to also remind that all these rules that are available for characters are also available for NPCs and monsters. So that means that there are enemy spellcasters out there who can cast fireballs that are maxed out like crazy too. So once you hear that there is an evoker fire specialist or pyromaniac wizard living in that tower, watch out.
Right.
Because his spells will be tough as hell too,
Okay.
and cast a lot of them. So rules
Yeah.
works both ways. So that's one of the important things for balancing, so to speak. So it's not only characters who can do these things, that NPC casters can max out stuff the same way.
This is the so John. This is the book that is the basis for this. This is player's option spells and magic, and from here I can build the specialty priest spheres rather easily, right? As we come back to, because they're all down here. Even the wizard ones are, but I don't need them. I don't need the wizard spells by school with the way. But here are the priest spells by sphere, and from that I'm using a hybrid of monster mythology with Brandabaris, right? and
That's a good
and,
question,
and
Varl.
demi-heaven deities.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good one, Varl. And spells that
yeah.
deals with truth and lies and stuff. I haven't. It's something I've only begun to do, because mind magic will have its own add-on rules. I call it cerebral magic. There are some spells already in there just to fill out the range, but I want to have psionics rules, so to speak, that
Oh,
goes beyond oh, yeah, but there will be nothing like first edition psionics. No, 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 no.
well, I have
They
the
will be,
Inquisitor class. It has Detect Lie and True
yeah.
Sight and all that
Mhm.
stuff. So,
Yeah,
yep. All right. So, yeah, this for Brandon Barris. If it was Celestian, which I'll do in a future show,
yeah.
I'd be in From the Ashes, looking at this, right? Looking at this instead of in a monster mythology book, and then Eric Boyd's Demi-Human Deities, which a lot of it's done up, but I'm going to make some changes to it, which I've already done. That was earlier on the show, for their abilities. Now, here are what other spells am I going to add? So I haven't. Let me finish this up real quick. So we come here. Next one is healing, right? So I go to the player's option book, and we go to the healing sphere, and I'm going to give them up to third level, with one exception, because I think they should have cure serious wounds and cure critical wounds like a regular
Mhm.
clerk. But I'm not giving them any. I'm not giving them healing circle, which is a major spell that we have added. So I'm not giving them heal either. So they get cure light wounds. So you mark that off. That's obvious, right? Cure light wounds is already on this list. I don't use cure moderate slow poison. That's already been marked off because it's in another sphere. Some of these are in crossover spheres. Let me blow this up a little bit. Cure blindness, cure disease, hold poison, repair injury, fortify, neutralize poison. That is they don't get that because that's fourth. So they get up to they get cure serious, cure critical, because I'm not a tweak. I'm not going to not give them those spells because standard clerics always had them, but I'm not going to give them the specialty spells beyond that. They don't have necromantic, so they can't raise dead either. They can't reincarnate or raise dead. These priests of Brandon Barris. That's not what they're about. They're not about raising the dead. So sucks to be you. But then again, you usually have those in your group. All right, so I think I skipped Guardian. That's what happened. I went out of
Yeah.
order. Blessed Watchfulness. Here we go. Light, Sacred Guardian. That's a first. I may have done this one already. And I go up to Glyph of Warding. Yeah, I did that. All right, that leaves two more. Protection. That's a major sphere. Here comes all the spells for protection. Endure cold and heat. Marked off. All right. Sanctuary. Big spell. Marked off. Resist acid and corrosion at second. Better, very good if you're around, black dragons and all sorts of acid spells, melts acid arrows. It's a good one. Withdraw, great spell if you know how much we use that in our game. Line of protection, mark that off. That's in here. Negative plane protection, great against undead, right? Add that. Protection from evil, 10-foot radius. Don't see that in here. Let me add that in. It's third level. Remove paralysis. A great underused spell that really can undo a lot of ghoul and ghast paralyzations, by the way. So, spell immunity. I got to hand write that one in because that's a major sphere, and this one didn't get, so I write that on the list. 5th level anti-plant shell, another one. Impregnable mind, 5th level, put that in. Anti-animal shell at 6th, and that is it because they don't get 7th. All right, 1 to go. Don't mind if players want hyperfocus. You said the modes are going to be handicapped. Yeah. Well, there's different level amounts of hyperfocusing. So last one is a weird one. Travelers. Now look at all these. These are all dark, and they're definitely not in here. But these are all in the Tome of Magic. So a lot of you probably don't know about these spells. Are kind of cool. A lot of them are RP types. Here's one. No direction. That can come in handy. That's first. Aura of comfort. I think that one's great if you're at nighttime. Light and load. We've seen that in the Crusader. It's great for marching. Create campsite. Another cool spell. That is at 3rd level. Neat spell. Helping hand. 3rd level. So I'm handwriting these in. No customs. That's a great spell if you don't know about the culture of people where you're going to. A good RP one, Circle of Privacy. At 4th, it is a major sphere. Travelers. True Steed, 4th. Clear Path, 5th. Easy March, another Crusader spell. And then 6th level, I think there's 1, right? Yep, Monster Mount. Kind of cool. All right. So, list is done with some exceptions. Now, those of you that have been since the beginning, there's some base clerical spells like resist cold and resist fire that really didn't come up, and I added them in where if you have resist ash, here it is. I missed it. Resist fire and resist cold. All right, it's right there. So I added them in. There are other spells. What do you think? Notice there's very few druid spells except an animal sphere early on here. All right. Now, I use spells from 3rd edition Player's Handbook. Right?
Do you have a list of them already
I do.
translated into?
I do. The ones that are allowed, I do. Here's this and Relic and Rituals. All right? And the Relics and Rituals, Relic and Rituals 2, and the Book of Hallowed Might. None of those spells are going to be in here. I haven't done any force, by the way. So, which ones of these am I going to add? So I came up with the following, based on the spheres. Shield of Faith, which is a protection spell. So let's see here. Where should we go? I'm not going to bring that back up. I'm just gonna go because I'm not going to handwrite that. It's already handwritten. Shield of Faith, which is a Player's Handbook 3 spell. I added that. They have combat and protection, so I gave them Sound Burst, which is another spell from Player's Handbook 3. That's a 2nd level spell. One of our favorite spells. Has anyone ever seen your priest and they run 30-inch movement rate? Anyone remember that spell in my game, Curtis, or anyone else? What is the spell? It's out of the Book of Hallowed Might from Monty Cook. And and it lowers your armor class by 2 spots. I consider it a protection spell. No, Rob, nothing. You don't remember that spell? Just got used on Thursday night. So that one's called Godspeed. Okay. So I added that spell because it's a protection spell. So another spell and Relics and Rituals, which is a souped up sanctuary spell.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Sacred Weapon, which does
Yep.
more damage. It's kind of a hybrid between a sanctuary spell and a spiritual hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, um,
I have them in I have them in radiant for like the good ones,
right. Okay.
fell ones for fiendish ones, and then sacred for like
Beautiful.
the neutral ones. So there's
Yeah.
like a good neutral and the neutral does force damage, the good one does
Yeah.
radiant damage, and the evil one does necrotic damage. So there is a version for each,
Yeah.
whatever taint or alignment side, what side you're on, so to speak.
Well, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yep.
out of this book, a lot of these Monty Cook third editions sword and sorcery
Yep.
books are awesome. Book of
Yeah.
Hollow Might.
Mm-hmm.
There's some that are like good, really good alignment. Like
Mm-hmm.
oh my god, my brain just shut off. It just got used on the other night too. Um, oh my god, it's first level. It's the one with Heart Glow.
Yeah.
So yeah, they don't get heart glow because it's a good aligned spell. You focus your holy power within yourself, causing it to glow like a brilliant light, which can be seen through your chest, even your clothing and armor. While your heart glows, all evil creatures within 10 feet suffer morale -1 to attack rolls, saving throws, and checks. Good spheres are going to get that spell. Heronius has it.
Mm-hmm.
Paylor, all the St. Cuthbert, they all get
Yeah.
heart glow. But the one is Godspeed. Godspeed has a movement rate of 30 inches and it lowers your arm class by 2, and it lasts 1 round per level. Boots' speed in my game are 24 inches. So the priest is moving at 30, which is 6-inch movement rate faster um, than Boots' speed. So, and that's a cool one.
Yeah.
Kai, question. Sorry, what was the 2 books you used? All right, so first book you need to find is the player's option, Spells and Magic, which is where Repair Injury first comes from. And also, if you want to create, like, start off by creating Elementalists or Wild Mages as an independent class, the listings are in the back of this, right? So here, they got a bunch of spells in here that we use. But when you come here and you come to this part here, here's the Appendix 3. And here's mage spells up through 2nd edition. Black is, shit. Sorry for swearing. 1 second. I didn't have it on that page. Player's option, spells and magic. Okay. All right. You come down here. A bunch of spells, and then here. So you do have wizard spheres if you want to use them to figure out if you want to make evokers. I don't use them, but it has elementalist magic, wild magic. So you know where all the spells fall in. Invocations, evokers, you go have at it. Necromancers, this is a good starting point. Elementalists, starting point, gives you all the spells, right? And then when you come down here, here is your clerical priest spheres, spells by sphere. This is where you start. All right, you have to cross-reference this with either From the Ashes. Go into From the Ashes box set. It has all the clerical spheres for your deities, right? So if I go and I do this, let me come here and go docs and go From the Ashes. From the Ashes. Hopefully it shows. All right, From the Ashes 1. All right, let's see if this pops up correctly. All right, From the Ashes. Atlas of the Flash. It should be in the back. Yep. Okay. So here, let's go to Ouija right here. Ouija. Here's Ouija's. So this is where you get your GREYHAWK deities. And if they're not here, they may be in other publications, but all the main ones are right here. So here's all her spheres. All right, all charm, lesser in combat, divination, all elemental. That's a little extreme. Guardian, healing, law, necromantic protection, summoning, and sun lesser. Thought. It's too much. It's a lot for her. That's a bad example. Oh my god. Chord small. Let's go to chord. I think chord's in here. KKKH. Hex. Chord is not. I thought it was. Here's chord. Chord's a good one because it creates a really small, nice list. Chord. All combat, lesser creation, lesser healing, summoning, lesser war, lesser weather. That's it. It create a really small list. So if I go here and then here, I should be able to bring this up. Chord. Oh, my sheet. Chord spells. It's going to come up in a there. Here's the chord spell list. See? There you go. There's chord spells. Now there's stuff in relics and rituals and things. Player's Handbook 3. So I've added some spells, but yeah. Oh, by the way, here's the listing. Here's a listing of a lot of the books you're going to need to do all this. All right. If you're going to really get into the weeds on this, and there's other books you can use beside this. Bastion of Faith, the Book of Eldritch Might, Demi-Human Deities, Eldritch Sorcery, Face and Avatars, GREYHAWK Adventures, because there are spells in there. Howl Might, Player's Handbook 2, Player's Handbook 3, Player's Option, Relic and Rituals 2. Notice and the Excalibur as well. Notice I don't have Unearthed Arcana in there. If it has no terminology next to it, it's Unearthed Arcana, Player's Option, or Tome of Magic. But if it has nothing here, Resist Fire, for example, it's Unearthed Arcana. Right? So, okay, let's finish this up. We go back to Eric Boyd. Now, Eric Boyd is good for something else, and that is Demi-Human Deities. Let's create his own spells. All right, and here are 3 of them that we're going to put right in that spell list that are unique to Brandabaris completely. First one, Daydream. Lurg, I don't need. Why would I need Lurg when Lurg's a poor man's Chord, right? You can make Lurg too, but I kind of like Chord way better. I also have a Druid, which is based on Malar. I guess it could be a little bit of Lurg. It's based on the Master of the Hunt from Celtic, and they're evil Druid, specialty Druids in the Vespi. Yeah, so Lurg would fit though. All right, Daydream. Level 1. This spell causes the target's thoughts to drift away from the task at hand, diminishing his or her chance of noticing anything unusual. So yeah, you get a save, or you're going to be off in La La Land just daydreaming, which is and it lasts 1 round per level. So a first level caster it's going to last a round for them, but if you're 7th level, it's going to last for 7 rounds on them. And here's all the target's penalized by 10% any checks. Surprise remain at -1. Everything's at 10% things, right? So they're like just off in daydreaming lands. Kind of cool. So that goes on Daydream, and then I'm going to put next to it DD in parentheses for Demi-Human Deities, because that's where spell it's coming out of. 2nd level, Charm of Brandabaris. This spell is useful when the caster's been captured. The spell convinces 1 to 4 targets that the caster is too valuable a prize to execute or eat out of hand. That's a cool spell. Yo, Gargamon. I'll right up your 2nd edition alley here with Specialty Priests. All right. So let's see what the saving throw negates. So even creatures of animal intelligence or less are more easily distracted from the caster. Wow. So you can actually, creatures available for consumption will be eaten first. You can do it on lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my. Wow. That's pretty interesting. Charm does not affect caster's ability to communicate with their captors, nor does it otherwise alter their behavior. So that gets added, and that's 2nd level. Charm of Brandabaris. So that's going to be a unique spell for them. Then added, and that's a DD spell. Lastly, there's a 3rd level spell. Stealth of Brandabaris. Duration 1 turn plus 1 round per level. When this spell is cast, the priest temporarily gains the ability to move silently and hide as if a thief, as over a level found in table 19. Dexterity and racial adjustments apply. All right. If the caster is multi-class priest thief, it'll give him a plus 20% to that ability. So there is some benefit if you are multi-class too. So there you go. So that's Stealth of Brandabaris. There you go. So DD. All right. Here's a trivia question for you. What level This is deity. This is demi-human deities for all this. Eric Boyd's great book from Forgotten Realms, because all the demi-human priests, right? Now, there are tricks. Say you're doing Mayheen, right? And say you're doing a Mayheen priest, and you're like, well, I don't have any Mayheen spells to add, right? Well, you can add some. I think I closed this out already. Hold on. Let me take that off. Let me take that off, and so I don't crash the stream here. All right, let me bring that back up. A little trick. Do not feel bad, because Ed doesn't feel bad at all either. So do not feel bad about doing this. Pick a deity that is close. See, this book is not as good as it's all just in typeset, and I don't know where it is. But pick a deity that is close, and let's see. Let me find each one where I am. So this is in tech group here. So for example, I've taken here. I'm right here. Helm. What a guess. So what I've done is I've taken Helm spells that are in here and added them to the Mayheen list, and just changed the name of the spell from Helm to Mayheen. Simple. And then I've added in spells. Now, if you think a spell here, so Sentry of Helm is now Sentry of Mayheen, 3rd level. Exaltation, that's an old spell. So that comes right out of a Dragon magazine, that one. That's an easy add. Force Ward, another one that was in a Dragon magazine from Ed's articles. Yep. Mace of Odo, that's simple. Mace of Mayheen, or you just change it to Sword of Mayheen. Or you can keep it Mace of Odo, whatever you want, so it creates a magical weapon. Seeking Sword, a great spell. In fact, I allow that as a mage spell too. Ed Revelantor has that. So there. Those spells all can be added to the Mayheen spell list. Summon Spectator, another one. All added. Simple. And trust me, there are so many spells in that Face and Avatars book, you can find whatever you're looking for. Evil, good, if you want to add some flavor spells to your list. And the creators that make it, Eric Boyd and Ed, don't care. In fact, they encourage it. And we have enough stolen from GREYHAWK, right, Anna? Into Forgotten Realms. It can't hurt in reverse to go back. More Ed's coming the week after GaryCon. We have an Ed games that Saturday night on October 12th.
Oh, you mean at the virtual GreyHawk?
The week after. We have Ed at Virtual GreyHawk the Thursday night, and we have a 2-drink minimum game on the Saturday after Virtual GreyHawk. So, I have my list here. Look at this chicken scratch. Now, I have to take this, right? All these spells. So, what was anyone answer the question? What level normally has the most spells?
1st level, I guess.
No.
3rd?
3rd. It goes 3rd, then 1st, then 2nd.
Right? Well, 3rd is the most fun level when you get like real cool stuff.
It's 3rd. 3rd tends to have like usually between the most up to 25 to 30. Sometimes it differentiates, but mostly it's 3rd. There's a lot of 3rd level spells, so yeah, that tends to be it. All right, so I've taken all this, and then I'm going to, once I get it done, I'm going to put it in alphabetical order. I'm going to add it to the listing of all the priests, right? I'm going to take this list. I'm going to add in Brandon Barris onto this list, right? It's going to go right after Bakab and put it in here. It's going to be approved. We already have someone who's playing one. I'm going to put in the necessary paperwork that they need, which includes this stuff, which shows their special abilities, and add the spell list in of all the references where all the spells come from. And we have a functioning list for a deity. And it only took, let's see, we did this for what, an hour and a half and 2.5 hours today. So I haven't 4 hours before I've even made all the changes, typing, right? But we have a priest done, and that's Brandon Barris. Simple, right? What minimum player level to get third level spells? Fifth, both in cleric and in wizard. Fifth, yeah, fifth and sixth, and then seventh to get fourth, ninth to get fifth. It's odd levels normally. All right, give me questions, everyone. Next time when we have one of these, I'll definitely do Celestian next for you, and I'll do a Greyhawk one. Just note, here are all the books that I have, and I think I forgot the Excalibur reference book. Here are all the books I have that I may need to use for this, right? Well, if you notice, BB, my special groups, I start them at fourth or fifth. Yeah. You have Player's Handbook. You have Unearthed Arcana. You have Player's Handbook 2. You have Tome of Magic. You have Player's Option. You have Monster Mythology. You have Demi-Human Deities, Powers and Pantheons, Face and Avatars, 3rd edition. And Eldritch Sorcery, that's third. Okay, so you have Player's Handbook 3, Eldritch Sorcery, Welcome Rituals 2, and then Book of Hallowed Might. You also have 2 of these thin books from Monty Cook for Wizards as well. So you don't need, you can get them all in PDF. You don't have to get this detailed either. This is, you got to remember, this is 30 years or however since second edition is out. Years of me hybridizing and streamlining this. So Excalibur book is good, isn't it? Antiquus, it's a real good book. It's got a lot of great spells in it. You don't have to be this crazy. You can you can say, I'm going to have 15 spells per each level and pick the 15, or 10 or 12, like Anna kind of is doing for hers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can pick them.
Yeah, and Jay, we have one advantage compared to published rule sets is that we don't need to worry about organized play. Meaning, our rule sets are primarily made for ourselves, not to suit anyone else's game. But if you publish a rule set, it has to function in so many.
Oh yeah, I don't have the licensing to do it. Publish
yeah, and also when you do things like D&D editions, then and you have organized play, then you have to think about it. It needs to be understandable by hundreds of different DMs and work under so many different streamlined and very so on and so forth. You can't have, meaning you run with a lot of GM, what I would call GM or DM fiat, meaning it's up to the game master to decide. And the same thing with Hawktail rules. I'm simply saying, well, that's up to the GM to decide in each moment. But if you run organized play, it needs to be more strict than that often. And that's the good thing. We don't have to worry much about stuff like that. So that means that we can take our liberties in certain areas.
So I have people coming in who haven't played old school that play my special games, right? So if we think about this, Mike Disney has a specialty priest of Moradin, right? Skarn. So he has one of these, and he's kind of figured it out, right? It's just what he can and can't do, and his spells, and what he can choose from. So here's Moradin on the list. So he has one of those. Other people have had these, and I always help them out with it the first couple times, and then they kind of move on from there. Eric Boyd, which Eric knows what he's doing with priests, has his half ogre priest Telegord, right? Stunknord. He's a specialty priest of Heronius. And he's a half ogre. So I allowed that for Eric for roleplay purposes. So yeah.
And I've said that in my campaign, the priest of Heronius, they have to be proficient in battle axe as well as longsword.
There you go.
So yeah, it's the old tradition weapon from back in the day. So yeah,
hey,
so they need to so that's part of the, so you need to be able to wield both battle axe and the sword. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for the raid, Master of Dungeons. We're talking creating a specialty priest from scratch. Brandon Barris needs disguise self spells, especially priests can disguise themselves as things like orcs, or do they already get that via a thief ability? Well, the ability to disguise is something that is innate to certain classes like assassins and bounty hunters and stuff. And we talked about that a little earlier. I have no problem with that XT for them saying, changing their looks, but they can't change their height, right? Change self is a wizard spell. They don't have that as a clerical ability. I got it. I got it. So, but they're not. You see, first off, you're thinking of Brandon Barris in the wrong terms. The Brandon Barris is about the adventure and the story over the infiltration. That's what they do. So, no, they would not get a wizard spell stick that appears as an orc. No, they could be able to physically disguise themselves, but they don't have that. Got to know about the background on the character. Brandon Barris's priests and Brandon Barris's worshippers are all about coming back with the story of what happened. That's what they are. They're not just thieves. They're not, I'm going to steal this. That's not what they're about. That's the key with the Brandon Barris character. It's more about the story itself, the adventure, the travel. Yeah. So, really a cool class. It's not just about pilfering and stealing. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, XT, you got it. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. All right, so some great books that I highly recommend. Monster Mythology Second Edition. Uh, if you're going to be doing elves and dwarves and stuff, in addition, get this Demi-Human Deities book. And you got Arcana for your base spells in first edition. Tome of Magic second edition. You can't do the spheres without this, because a lot of these, especially travelers, numbers, thought, all those spheres for clerical, all the spells are in here. All those pre-spells come from this book. If you don't have this book, you're not going to be able to do those. You just can't do them, because they're all in that spell book. And the number one book that's the most important is the Player's Option Spells and Magic book, by far. Yeah, there's a lot of things. Yeah, exactly. So, true. So, all right. Well, that's a great question, though. Great point in question. Curtis, I will talk to you afterwards. All right. Sound like a plan. All right. Same thing Razzmatazz too. Got it. I like that you were blending things like the Demi-Human Deities. So there's, all right. One thing that is, let's get on with some misconceptions. I have always hated, especially since I've gotten to know him, the talk that still goes on to this day. Ed and Forgotten Realms stole a lot from GREYHAWK. All right, let's rephrase that. WotC and Hasbro stole a lot from GREYHAWK. Ed stole nothing from GREYHAWK, right? That was not what he was about. Two, we're gonna have a GaryCon, a really cool seminar this year with Anna, Ed, and me, talking about the portals that connect the worlds and the crossover. There's actually a lot of crossover characters and organizations that deal in both worlds, and that's kind of like what the topic's going to be for our GaryCon seminar this year. I think it's going to be awesome. All right, Ed has been nothing but a boon to this community, and I have stolen a lot of mage spells and a lot of priest spells, as you see, from these books. So from another. I forgot one more. So,
and we have to realize one of the reasons it was taken from GREYHAWK was that it's good. It's
yeah,
good
absolutely.
enough to be used in other places.
Yeah. Thanks, Art Scott. So I don't think here's another one you need to get. This and the Wizards one, the Prayers from the Faithful. Now I don't think Brandon Barris has anything in here, so I can't add any in. I don't think there's Brandon Barris in here. Nope. But if you are running Leviatar And there's spells in here you can use for Lana, or spells that you can use in here for evil druidic deities. All sorts of stuff. So it's a great one. Prayers from the Faithful. There's a whole bunch of listings of prayer books that have a ton of deities in them here. That if you want, you can take those spells and convert them to a specific Greyhawk deity, just like I have. So, for example, Talos. I have a deity that's called the Stormlord, right? So anything that's a Talos spell in here, I have used from here and put in there. Now, Ilmater is a deity I specifically used because it was Ilmater was Finnish, right?
Yeah, I think
Ilmater
so.
was Finnish,
Ilmater.
right? So I
Yeah.
had that before, and there's a whole bunch of Ilmater spells in here because Ilmater is also a Forgotten Realms deity. So there's a lot of spells and prayers from the faithful you can use too. Right? So who's the major spell? Oh, it's Elminster. It's Ed. It's Elminster. It's just he looks like Ed, so it's Ed Elminster. Yep, 100%. Still joking for you to anything post Gygax is D&D fan fiction. That's all right. Elminster incest hammer too. I really wish the 2E Monster Manual was a normal book and not that stupid 3-ring binder. Jeff, I agree. They allowed them to bring out a lot of supplemental monsters that would never have fit in the second edition one, like the Sewell Lich, which is in an annual one, right? There are a lot of Greyhawk ones that would never have gone into the main one that are supplements that at least we have them now. So kind of what that binder thing was kind of off, but I would have rather preferred books from them all. Yeah. Yeah, printing on the back side of them is a drag. I agree because it's hard to two-sided. Mm-hmm. You love the supplemental ones. I agree 100%. Same with the Blackstaff family. The art's cool too. Yeah, Stephanie didn't. So the point I'm trying to make is that use whatever you have at your command ability to make your game have more flavor in it. I will steal all day long from Forgotten Realms with spells I'm going to use against Ed, like Agonizer Scorcher, right? And Seeking Sword, which I showed you guys, and Prayers from the Faithful book spells that I'm going to put in my deities to add variety to my, because my guys know what's coming if I'm using just spells in the Arcana. Gotta add them in. Then playtest them. Yeah. Diana, what are your thoughts on what you're doing? And
It's yeah, I think it's really, this is one of the topics that makes a setting or a game very flavorful, meaning it ties it into the story and especially the setting. Meaning a fighter is a fighter, and even wizards are kind of commonplace in a lot of sense. They can cast fireball anywhere and lightning bolt and whatnot, but the speciality priest and the ones that serve the deities and stuff, that is the thing that makes it Greyhawk or whatever setting you're doing it. So that's where I think it requires or deserves a bit of special attention when you do the stuff that has to do with gods and divine magic, and you tie it in. So it should be, and that's where you also should add. You can do interesting limitations, like in Hawktails, clerics can do a lot of stuff. If you become a priest of something, you can get a lot of cool stuff, but you also get the limitations of it. And that's why you have to, but it's up to the DMs. Not all limitations should be mechanical, so to speak, meaning clerics can get a lot of, if you become a specialty priest, you might get a lot of cool things like special senses, you get lots of cool magic and stuff, but it also up to, you only have it as long as you please the deity or whoever you serve. So that's one of the things. So as a DM, you need to be prepared for, if a good specialty priest or someone who's serving a good deity goes off the rails and the rookers and start doing the wrong thing, the spells will not come anymore, and the deity will take away the stuff. So I think that's another way you can rein stuff like this in. It's like you wield a lot of power, but it needs to be handled responsibly.
Yeah, and there's nothing more flavorful for Greyhawk specifically than the specialty priest, and as
Yep.
far as a class goes, right?
Mhm.
Um, Now there's other things. There's prestige classes in third edition, like, um,
Yeah, but if
yeah,
oh, yeah,
yeah,
but
like
if all they're
knights always
doing
shielding and
it's
stuff.
it's
Yeah,
sneak
yeah,
attacking and getting specialization in some sort of weapon and stuff, that's kind of it's everywhere.
right, right. I don't
But
know.
if you can only cast certain spells when the Celine is blue and full and stuff like that, that becomes more like, oh, this is tied into Greyhawk. Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing I would say is if you want to do this and you're not sure where to start, I can always help you again with starting. I always suggest, and I won't give them out, because they're mine, created from scratch. But I will assist someone because it's better that you make it yourself, so it has your own flavor and your own style to it. Because there may be a spell that you think should be in the
Mhm.
list that I don't have. Could be, or something you've found, or something you've custom made, or something one of your players has made that should go in. It's
Yeah.
just, you know,
Yeah, the key bit I think is to look at similar spells in power, so you know what
yeah,
level to set it, because you can have spells at almost any power level. You just have to make sure that
right.
you
Oh yeah,
only you
absolutely.
put them at the right level, so to speak. Meaning you can have spells that inflict horrible conditions and enormous amount of damage and stuff like that that breaks a lot of rules, but you have to make sure, first of all, what kind of save, what conditions are surrounding the spells, what components do they need, and what level
Yeah,
do you need to cast it. And that's the other thing. It's let's check here, because normally you only have like 3 or maybe 4 different components. I think I have 16 different types of components now
oh cool.
yeah. So we have magic rules, magic components, 12 magic components. So apart from the visual, somatic, and material that is normal, you have the conditions. So you might get a condition, you might go unconscious, or you might be fatigued, or stuff like that if you cast a spell. Or you might have to make a saving throw when you cast a spell, or something like that. So you might get a condition of some sort. You might be enfeebled for a day if you cast a certain spell, or something like that. So there you can get a condition. That's one of them, and that's many different
That's
depending on
cool.
what the condition. And then you have exertion. That's a meta currency, that meaning it drains your ability to do a lot of things when you cast the
Oh, that's
spell.
cool. Thank you too.
Yeah. And then you have the obvious focus. You need a certain item that is not consumed by the spell, but you need to have it, like a holy symbol, typical one, or mistletoe, or something that you need for it. Health, meaning it costs you literally hit points. A lot of necromantic spells require you to sacrifice some of your blood in order to cast a spell. Life, it ages you. You
Oh,
takes of your lifespan to cast a spell. Like haste is one of the examples. For instance, when you cast a haste spell,
hmm,
then that will take some lifespan away from you. So resurrect someone, it might take a decade away from you. So that means that you can't cast that many spells of that in your life, so to speak. Another one is performance. That is one where you need to sing or use a musical instrument, like bard spells. So that's a component that some spells require you to do music, like Tasha's hideous laughter or something like
yeah.
that might require you to use an instrument, whistle, or do something musical, or dance a little bit or something. And then you have time is another one. There are certain spells that might only be able to cast when the moon is full, only at New Year's, only once every
Oh,
10 years, and stuff like that. So there are certain magic that can be tied into time. Place is another one. It only works in certain places. This spell is only for certain locations and stuff. And then you have another one is experience. It costs you literally XP in order to cast it. So you have to have unused experience points in order to cast it. So it will take XP away. Those are I have a few more that needs to that I think I should be in that. One of them is death. I forgot to mention death. It takes you death saves. You lose a death save if you cast it.
Okay.
And so you and one of them could be doomed. One of the condition is doomed. So you need to sell your soul to a lower being or a higher being in order to cast it. So you have to, if you cast that spell, you are tied to someone. So when you die, you become the property
Take
of
ship.
so and so and stuff like that. So you might have to give up your soul to cast certain magic. So these are components that some spells will come with.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so I want, instead of, it's I looked into DCC, Dungeon Crawl Classics,
Hmm.
have some of these things, but I didn't want to have them effects on different spells, so I simply put them as components, and then I can put in, because the normal way of limiting things in D&D is you put a material component that costs 5,000 gold. And that means that whatever, when they become wealthy, they can just resurrect or cast whatever spells in unlimited amounts. I wanted things, components that were hard coded, that characters, players realize, damn, if I cast this, it will cost me XP, the lifespan, or whatever for my character. So there are things that are crippling, but that means that those spells can be really powerful, because no matter what, your character will not cast it, many of them anyway, so to speak. So that might be certain things. So those are some of the components. I have a few others that I'm working on too, that will do. And some of them are only maybe necromantic spells, or a few of these might only be them. That might be cerebral or psionics, might only be a few of these that evolve, things like that. So yeah.
Yeah. It's cool. A lot of the old school has those quirks, which
Mm-hmm.
can really
Yeah.
suck. Um,
Yeah.
the Wish itself has it. So
Yeah.
that prevent abuse. Uh,
Exactly. So that's why I
yeah.
want to have components like this that are kind of, that could be really cool spells, but they are crippling. So as a player, you will be like, nah, I'm not so sure I want to do this. You only do it when you have to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. So last round of questions. What do you have for us before we go into shout outs?
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm still looking for signups for some more virtual con signups. I put out a post today, and I'll repost that up of games that really could use some signups for it. So if it's an issue of not having capability of getting a badge, let me know. We can work that out. But it's only $5. Actually $6.30 or something like that, because it's $1.30 for the TTE charges. So it's not much at all. And thanks all for that hype train. I really appreciate it. Any other questions? Oh, Jeff, there's a ton of stuff. I'm going to go over it shortly. I'm really here. Let me do that first. Let me do that. Let me go to Facebook and bring up and show you the
Yeah.
post. Yeah. Let me do that first. All right. So I put this out. Virtual GrowCon 5 is only 2 weeks away, and it's all over Facebook's, but it goes right to the site. Here are adventures. Most of them are Saturday. Whoops, I can't make it that big. Most of these are Saturday. So Deep Dwarven Dell, the rescue mission. That's Friday, October 4th at 6. Mystery of the Stolen Boat. Most, like, from this all the way down to Zavad, are all Saturday. That is Mystery of the Stolen Boat, 9 a.m. Saturday. Ravages of the Mind. That's Josh's game. Guess people don't like Josh anymore. That's 9 a.m. as well. Deep Dwarven All the Forgotten Tunnels. That's at 10 a.m. Saturday. The Within the Darkness at 6 p.m. Saturday. The Fury of the Bitterroot Tribe. That's William Henry Dvorak. He's only got one sign up for it. That's at 6 p.m. I think there's too many events on Saturday night. I think that's the problem. Valmoku Strange Bedfellows is at 8 p.m. Zavad, that's written by Carlos Lysing. That's at 8 p.m. also on Saturday. And then and Dickers' Zeef game still has a couple open slots. All this for a wedding, and that's Sunday, October 6th at 9 a.m. and that's open. So just, if you can, please sign up. but we will talk about all that shortly. Because we're also going to have an event special Gabbin start next week for everything for the con. So uh, your question about the best NPC and at times the best PC ever is affirmative. Yes, awesome. That is awesome. That'll be hysterical. Beautiful, Curtis. Always causing trouble. How could people not like Josh? Well, I'm actually busting his stones just because I can. So all right. What other questions we have, and then we're going to do some shout outs. All right. It's not what he did, it's what he's going to do.
What we fixed
I was away from the keyboard. Who's hating on Josh? I'm not hating on Josh. I'm allowed to. So take this, Garner. Don't take this the wrong way. Okay, I'm saying this as a joke, kind of. But unlike you and Josh and Brett and all his other minions that he has do tasks for him, I'm outside that bubble, so I can I can say what. So when I'm at Gary Con and Josh tells you to jump, I don't say how high. How's that sound? Come on, that was funny. Because he looks at me. He's walking around. He's telling this person to do that, telling this person to do that, and he looks at me and he says nothing. So I'm just kidding. Because that's Josh. Garner's goal in life is to off any character. Chad, yeah, I'm just having fun. I love exactly. That's it. He tells me to get out. I love you to get out. That was funny. Yeah, I've already been going back and forth with Josh on some things, so it's okay. Yeah, Gabriel. Yeah, you should talk to him. All right, yeah, please get. I'm trying. Gabriel. I'm trying to get people for Von Mogu's game. I'm trying. That was part of that list. I'd love to see it. That would be awesome. So that for you to get people to play in that. I think Garner, you only have one left in yours. That's why I didn't include yours in that because I think yours is going to get filled. Trying to really help the ones that have two or more and really need them for their games. So, all right, Anna, what's going on?
Well, first, XD Candy had some questions about if I have any specialty priest for my campaign and stuff. And yes, I do. For my Shieldland, for Hawktails now, I'm developing for Shieldlands. First of all, Hieronymus is, since a lot of player characters, there will be a lot of NPCs and stuff. So Hieronymus, I'm statted out. So I have a Hieronymus domain with all the spells that if you become a follower of Hieronymus and learn divine magic, those are the spells that Hieronymus can give you. But then there are even more specialized priests, so to speak. And the same domain list is if you become a warrior, because there's no hard coded saying you're a cleric or you're a paladin or something. It's like you can be simply say, well, I want to have this much fighting ability, and then I'm serving Hieronymus. And when you're serving Hieronymus and you're serving him well enough that you can be an active member of the temple, so to speak, or the church of Hieronymus, or the organization or the order, then you get access to the domain. If you pay enough XP, you get access to the domain, and then you can decide how many spell slots your character want going to have. It's like, I want to be a full caster, meaning like a full cleric. That means that you have to devote. You have less room over to learn all the cool stuff. You might be less specialized in weapons and stuff like that. But on the other hand, you can say that, well, I want to be able to lay on hands, or I skip the lay on hands bit. I want to do smiting, and I want to have some spells, and I want to have a fair bit of fighting power. So you can be like a fighter paladin with some clerical abilities, so kind of a paladin, but I skip my lay on hand stuff and rely on others for that. Or I become a war priest and say that I want to be able to heal and do lay on hands, and I'm not that keen on learning all the tricks of fighting and stuff. So you can put as much or as little efforts on these things as you want. So you can scale up your fighting abilities and sacrifice on your magic use, or vice versa. And then there is even more specialized. You have the Blades of Bahamut. That's a special sect, so to speak, within. If you want to be one of the chosen special followers of, like a special paladin of Hieronymus, meaning Bahamut, then you can become one of the Blades of Bahamut. That means that you get special abilities that only you can learn, and those are you can learn. You can do the generic Heronian stuff. You can have a Heronian domain and stuff like that, but you can also pick stuff that has to do with dragon stuff. So you can do, for instance, you can get dragon senses. You can get immune to certain things, immunities and resistances like dragon have. And when you really high level, you can become a dragon. You can you
Mm.
get transform yourself into a dragon first, a smaller one for a little bit of time, and eventually, if you go the whole way, you will become a dragon, so to speak. That's like a prestige class in a way. And that means that it's basically like the Dragonborn of from third edition, but I've taken them in the opposite end. So first you get, instead you don't get breath weapon or anything like that, but you get to understand. First you have to speak Draconic, then you get some dragon senses. You can see and smell like a
Okay, 20
dragon and stuff
sides.
like that, and then you go up from there, so to speak. So those are things that I have so far in it,
So
and I've done the
about
same thing for evil deities. So for Ius, there's an Ius domain. There are special things. There are certain other clerics and special warriors for IUs that get special powers and some special spells. You can get senses and stuff like that that are not normal. And there is also other forms of magic that IUs can use that are cerebral magic, pain magic, and stuff like that. And there's some blood magic and stuff that you can do. So you can create those nasty dried out husks of undeads and stuff like that. So, and there's also different types of damage. There are let's see here, how many types of damage there are that ties into it. There are 16 types of damage all in all. The most obvious one, like the elemental, like fire and acid and poison and stuff. But then there are three kinetic types of damage: bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. We are used to them. And then there are magical. Force and psychic are magical in their nature, so to speak. And then there are celestial damage, radiant damage. And then there are most cool ones, the fiendish types of damage. That's the necrotic, life drain, energy drain, ability drain, and then there's a couple of others that I haven't I haven't put them in yet. I've started to figure out how to apply them. So there will probably be about 20 forms of damage when I'm
cool.
done, so to speak. Yep.
That is awesome. Good
Yep.
question.
So, yep. So those are some of the stuff that I'm weaving in there. And there will be a couple of more celestial types of damage too, because the evil
Right on the
ones
front
have more
page.
types of damage, but there are a few more that I want to do on the good side too. And the celestial are tainted good. So when you use them, they are detected as good. And if you use the fiendish damage types, then they irradiate evil, so to speak. So you can sense it. If you have sense taint or sense alignment, you can sense these things.
Awesome.
Yep.
Cool to know.
Yep.
So, Anna, what else is going on? So, and then
I
I'll
had
go
a
over
play
some.
test. Yeah, I had a play test first today. First kind of real battle test of Hawktails, and it performed reasonably well. It was me. I realized that I need to be able to keep track of things better, so I ordered a board so I can do dry erase and move things around quicker. That was one of the things I learned. Otherwise, it performed roughly where I was hoping it will be. So we had low level. The Predians were third level, which is like first, second level in standard D&D 5e, and it was good. They kind of got at a bunch of goblins. The goblins almost killed one of them, and they killed four goblins, I think, and the rest fled. So it was a half. We did about 30 or 25 rounds of combat in a couple hours, and so far it played reasonably well. We were all rusty because it was the first time we actually used the system. The first time I did it with hardened D&D players. So for being a very first playtest, I think it was a reasonable success. People liked it. It was it played fairly fast for being a first time we ran it. So yeah, I did a couple
Very
of
cool.
errors when it comes with the spells, but that was me read forgot to read through the spells. I just assumed, but there was a couple of changes. So yeah,
Welcome in all the new
exactly.
viewers too. Thank you very
Yep.
much.
Mm-hmm.
Really appreciate it. Imagine
Yep.
we're on highlighted somewhere, and thank you for all the raids coming in today, Alex. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. So, all right, Anna. So, what do you got going on
I
this
have
week?
one update for Virtual GREYHAWK on first. There is one of the players there is Jay. He's going to be in your joust. So I will probably add another player in. So I'm going to email people that are on the wait. So if you're on the wait list, I saw there were a couple of people on wait list. You might very well get into the game because I think it's much better to get enough
Oh, cool.
players in so we can run the whole
Yeah.
session. Yep. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to send you some rules. You don't need to know them, but it might be a good idea to so you have a little bit of an idea. I'm going to run a play test on
I can't do it.
Tuesday, and I'm going to run a play test on Saturday again. And the next play test will be a bit higher level. That will be roughly where the actual game will be, I think, on Virtual GreyHawk, like fifth, sixth level. So we will beef things up a bit. So there will be more goblins slaughtered next time, and I will get some other monsters in there too. And then there will be a mapping live stream on Friday, and I will hopefully get a couple of other posts out because I have some other cool updates that I want to show my patrons. And a little bit of a preview for what I'm going to. So top patrons will get a preview of what's coming on the seminar a little bit. So yeah.
So, since we're on the front page now on Twitch, I'm going to extend and thank you all. They're really working with partners, so we're gonna extend. We'll do some general Q&A. Um,
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll definitely. That's what I figured. Oops. I'm going to extend it. Oh, thanks, Wayne. Thank you. Yeah, it's not going to show as a hype. We just had another hype, but thanks a lot. I really appreciate all the support. All right, so let me. We'll go over virtual GreyHawk in a second. What's going on this week? Anna, we need a topic for Wednesday.
Oh yes, we need
I
a
can't give
yeah.
you a Legends and Lore topic for Wednesday yet.
No,
But
we need to. Yeah, we need
yeah,
to do. I've been so busy with my stuff here too. So
right.
yeah.
But if you saw, and I didn't take action pictures off the table yet for last week. Normally I try and get some, but it was kind of busy and enthralled with football today, unfortunately. But adventure number 1067. Here's the setup for it. They didn't get down into this, so and this adventure, but they dealt with a priestess of Ayus, a lot of minotaurs, including a minotaur spellcaster, a minotaur shaman, and a lot of Orogs and an Orog mystic, and you can see them. Let me do a highlight on this. So if you go here, you can see there's the mystic in the back up top here. So I had them on already. Yep. It's good to see you, Mike. Mike, that was very kind what you did for Brandy too. I know she put it on Twitter. Very nice thing. I really appreciate you doing that. I know she's your good friend, but I know she's having a rough time. So you are the man for doing that. So that was really kind, of course. So the adventure. We continue this on Thursday. So Wednesday night's our next stream. Wednesday night at 7, and that will be a Legends Lore topic. We should have a special guest on. But then we'll continue the Karen discovery on Thursday night. So the group Vengeful Justice has gotten through a lot of fighting, and they'll probably get to the actually getting into the Karen. Now, what they found out was Rennie had given them, when they were in GREYHAWK City, had given them an original map, he said, to this cairn, which is undiscovered near Curtis's favorite place, Sour Load. It wasn't, to the northwest of there in the Cairn Hills, and also a gem that looked like it inserted into something that was gold. And wow, you guys are being awesome. Thank you so very much. Yeah. Harley, I'll talk about that in a second. Absolutely, that's a great question. When I get done the shout outs here, I'll talk about that. We're going to double the giveaway, by the way. Someone's going to tonight. Going to win 2 Classic D&D reprints when we do it. So exclamation point drawing for all the new viewers and watchers. Please feel free to jump in. Exclamation point drawing. So where was I? My train of thought. Oh, it turns out that they think this priestess of Ayus may have something similar. But she kind of got away, so they did not even open the cairn, which is up here in the top. All the fighting took place in the crags and down the base down here. But it was a good. I'll have postings of the remains of all the dead on the field for Thursday ahead of time. But that was Thursday night. Take us to Saturday afternoon, the weekend before Virtual GREYHAWK Con. Alrighty. Nuclear Meat is back. Oh, thanks, Jeremy. My great sponsor, Gamescape 3D.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much. Thank you all. Thanks, everyone. We got Coco Bunny, Dungeon Dave, Korg, and Phantom NJ from this great group. And this is Nuclear Meat. Dave is back from Guild Superior playing. His character Emron is he hasn't played him in a while. His Ranger, and Rob will be playing his Dwarven Fighter Thief. Durgrim, Coco will have Faunlin. She's now 7/7 Fighter Mage. Korg has his crazy dual class Fighter 3rd, Monk 7th Maram. And that'll be from 10 to 2 on Saturday on the and we may have 1 or 2 other special guests still. I'm working on that, but those 4 are all committed. And penalty of death. I always make them sound ominous just to scare them, man. That's the only reason I make those names up. So,
but it's good. It's great.
Penalty of death. So that'll be a fun one. All right. Let's go here. Let's go here, and let's talk about. The event schedule list. Oh, I'm being stupid. We'll leave this up, but let me go to GREYHAWK Con, and let me go to Saturday. All right. We're going to do some quickie announcements. We'll do this again next week because next Saturday also is the special. Where is it? Oh, I didn't bring it out. Gabbin 3 Virtual GREYHAWK Con. Sorry, I forgot something. Next week's Gabbin is this Virtual GREYHAWK Con 5 Prelude Show. Guests and more guests. It's the Sunday before it starts on Thursday. We'll have a lot of guests in. We'll have and that'll be next week. We'll have if you have a highlighted stream, you're welcome to come in hour 1, hour 2. Hey, Vancouver, we'll organize that if you want to do hour 1 or hour 2. I'll make that organization. Also, we will have players that are being the joust. We're welcome, and some other key people that we may hop on. Some really special guests. So Gabriel, you're in. That's good to hear in Anna's game. That's awesome. All right, so that is the Prelude Show next Sunday. But ahead of time, there goes my.
That's awesome, Gabriel.
Yeah, it's great to hear.
Awesome.
It's great to hear. All right, so and Anna's game here is at 3, and she'll be rating. Both Rob and Anna will be rating into me at 6. So thank you for the follow. Because Rob's game's going 6 hours or 7, crazy amount of hours. You may or maybe into Anna at the end, but yeah. So The Grand Joust of Altamira. Here are the special guests, including Luke Gygax, which will be back playing his son, character, the son of Melf slash Eleator slash Smelf, however you want, whatever you want to call him. He's back. Here are other people in the community, and this year is a special grudge match style. You will, after the first round, when I call out you, it's just, did you ever see one of the cheesiest but funniest, coolest westerns of all time, where they get to call each other out? Come on, what western am I talking about? And then they had to duel. So no, come on, Sam Raimi. It's a Sam Raimi western. Yes, the Quick and the Dead. Right? It's Quick and the Dead style. Yep, exactly. You get to call out, and so if you're in the winners bracket or losers bracket, remember it's a double elimination. So you get to choose when I based on a formula, whoever goes, and then they'll say I want to joust you SOB. So we're gonna have a little rivalry. Here are the people that are in the joust so far. The two-time returning champion, Little Bones, playing her character Isarel. So Bones is in, right? So she is back, and she is. I'm creating a little tension between her and Luke, because I already told her that Luke is calling her out, saying he's coming for her this time. So she's pissed off already. So I already started trouble. All right. So Luke Gygax, Mike Disney, with a long time ago champion, Sir Vargrin the Unmerciful, is back. So we have another champion. Did I warn Luke? Yes, I did. I warned Luke ahead of time. Sir Vargrin the Unmerciful is back. Luke Gygax playing Son of Melf. Stronghold Tim is playing. Tim DeTruly is in it. So his low-level paladin is decided to join the joust. So he is in. Yeah. Canadian Ancient Gamer Patrick is back playing Juan Carlos, Captain of the Guard of Altamira, like he does every time. Yes, Melf, Son of Melf. You got it. Luke is playing in. Here are some surprise newbies besides that. Coco Bunny is playing her Ranger, Elazira. Okay? Which is a real long shot. Because every year Emerson Winchester IV, my NPC, and her fiance go in, and he gets slaughtered. So he's training her up to go in his place. So he's like, I've had enough. So Elazira will be in. And the surprise of all surprises, Korg the Mighty is playing his dual-class human fighter / monk with that legendary spear he has. It's a light lance spear. So Maram Soramir the monk is actually going into the joust this year. Yet, yes, Dragon 17 chainmail rules. Let me throw them up for you. And there's modifications, which I'm not going to share with you, but all you need to do is set up a defensive point and an attacking point, and roll the 20-sided die when I tell you. I calculate everything. So it's here. This. Oh, Dragon 17. I give this out to everyone. Yes, you are going to get, an existing character. Rob, you are in the, so that leaves Lomas. Here are the other people that are in. Lomas Lightfoot is in. Sparky 68's in. Phantom NJ is in. Brian Danger Jagasak is in. GTRFB 94 Chris Johnson's in. Phantom 491 Dennis Callender is in. He's already got Tarish Ming because he's a terrible one. He has him. He wanted him again. So there are 5. And Tino, I got to see if there's 1 or 2 other special guests. If they're not, then you're on the wait list and you're in. It's right on the fence. So I will tell you as soon as I can. So, but those 5, it'll be in order of the remaining characters. So yeah, you'll get to pick someone. I know, Rob, you had the Black Knight last year. You may get him again. So, yeah, no flying ostriches. So that'll be a blast. That'll be a real fun time. I'm really excited about it. But if you want to get this, it's right in Dragon 17. If you can't get a copy of that, this is just a JPEG. But I have all sorts of, over on this side, there's all sorts of editing changes for this, like, how you get on horse, saves for it, and everything like that. But this is what you're most important with. You set your base on your shield, and you set your attack point where you're aiming, which could be even their helm. and that's it. And then there's a calculator on pluses and unhorsing and all. For tactical purposes, you roll 20-sided dice when I tell you, and that's it. So it is a blast. Yeah, and this is I don't know, 5th year of doing it. Fourth year on Virtual Crowd Con. I think I did it once. I think I did it during a fundraiser once too. So yeah, just so much going on. It's hard to keep track of everything. So, any questions about that? I'm always trying to keep things. I was not going to do it this year. Oh, by the way, the thing with the thing Saturday Sunday morning's not happening. It's just we can't. Sir Andrew and I can't. I got with my health things. I just got too far behind. So if someone wants to run a stream Sunday morning, it's still open. Okay, Sunday morning is open, and you can take it if you so choose as a stream option. Alrighty, just let me know, and I will. I will bring you in, and you can bring it. You only need to have one open sign up because it's so late in the game. So you just let me know. All right. Okay. Any other? We're gonna do the giveaway here. Any other? And we'll raid into Darling. So, Anna, any other things? Oh, there was a question. There was a question.
Yeah.
Hold on. There was a question about other things I use. Who said that? A question about what else do you utilize? I forget who asked it, but the answer is yes. Okay, Harley, the number one. So the night class that I have started with the Knights of the Rose from the Dragonlance hardback book, and then it morphed into a hybrid paladin / specialty priest. We're talking about this earlier in the show, but it changed away from what they are. But that's where it started. So, so that came right from the Dragonlance storyline. So I liked it a lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Asking about using it for yes, and that's a big one. That's a big one. And there's other stuff. There's other books we'll use here and there, especially monsters from other places. Use a knight from Castle Crusades. That works, John. That works too. I had a show with we had a show once with Stephen Chenault about some classes, and I like 3 or 4 of them, but we never implemented any of them just because we're so busy with all the other stuff going on. But there's 3 or 4 classes I have to go back and watch that show that I really liked that we could use. Nope. Matthew Barnabas is out this year, Michael. It's no biggie. Nope. He is not playing. So, yeah, you may see. Let's see if I have. Oh, I don't have them in this pile here, but there are some other ones. You may see Lady Finane come back. She was always highly ranked, but never won. She sat out last year. You may see her come back. You may see a couple others. Sharon always is in it. I know Alex has played him a couple times and lost. Punch a fan? Nah, never. So we'll have a blast with that. So, yeah. I'd love for it if you would sign up and give us a shot. If you're new, if you're watching, give us a shot to play in the GreyHawk. It's always a fun time. What do you do when a player wants to be a follower of an unknown god? Gotta give me an example. Wayne, you gotta give me an example. Like the Great Gildersneeze or something, right? Is that what you're talking about? I don't know for anyone. I don't know, man. Dennis, I just don't know. I mean, freaking Bones has just been on a roll, so we'll see. Yeah, I would say that if they want to do something really obscure, I would rather them not, because it's going to be a faux god then in GREYHAWK, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather them do something. That's why I always add in new specialty priests, because they try something different. Like the big one now that I want them to do, and this was published, in Visions of GREYHAWK.
Well, in my game, there will be rules in Hawk Tales for how to create your god, how to become a god, and how a god is made, so to speak. I already posted early versions of them on my Patreon earlier, and so that will be baked into the rules. And if you want to start a cult, you can actually start worship a tree or a waterfall or something, and start building a cult. It will be tough in the beginning, but if you manage to, it's like doing a startup company. Very few succeed, but those who succeed can be really powerful. So, yep, there will be rules for creating your own cult. Yep. So you can do it. It will, of course, like in everything else, it's up to the GM
No.
and the story if it will be allowed, so to speak. So if it will
Well,
work, yeah.
yeah.
But it's definitely going to be in the rules. If you want to start an obscure cult, you can even start a cult to an established god. But the thing is that then that
Oh, in a different.
god power might needs to, if it doesn't approve, you will be you will get a lot of enemies, so to speak. So it's not necessarily that it works. It
Okay.
might get the opposite effect.
I would prefer them, and we have one that actually switched over to this because when it came out.
Yeah.
But I would prefer them to do some of the more obscure ones, like the Specialty Priest of Saint Benedor. This is from Visions 2, right? Winchester Estate. Because look, it's done. The spell list is complete in here. Everything's in here, just like we talked about today. The whole shebang is in here. Special abilities, immolating your bastard sword, the spell list, yeah, and the background and one of the characters that actually exists as an NPC in here, and that is where I would rather them go to try things out. Is give some things that I just did. Exactly, Jeff. Exactly. So create the love, remove the machine. Yeah. So I actually have a love cult, specialty priestess. I think I still have Sharis, which was done for Walt, which is a crazy Forgotten
Yeah.
Realm deity. I did,
Yeah.
and his.
Do you think why do you think the old Flan used Grasset?
Um. mm,
Yep, that was the
okay.
the old Flan sex cult.
Oh, okay.
Their deity was Grasset. Yeah, of course, that's what he's known for, copulating, making half-bastard whatever everywhere. So
That's
yep,
funny.
yep.
That is
So
great.
so that's what they have. So they for other reasons too, but that was one of he was their saint or their dark saint of having fun at night, so to speak. Yeah, with others.
That's
Yeah.
crazy, but
Hmm.
funny. That is
Yeah.
funny.
I think when I saw it, Girasset, meaning, come on, that's his thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
it's his thing. That's what cults of Girasset do. Yeah. Hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, now you know who runs the special clubs you can find in places. Yeah. Hmm.
So, okay, describe that they want and help
Yeah.
them. So it's curious. Yeah, that it's a sort of. I agree. I agree. You find something that they want, and there's got to be a deity close to it. Well, first off, I don't allow evil characters, right? Unless there's a very
No,
specific
I try
circumstance.
to avoid that too.
Yeah,
That's
and that's
yeah, it's not
why.
good.
And we started this early. You may not have seen this, but let me move this over here. But that's why the NPCs have their. It's an NPC specialty priest and the book. They're not touching the purple book because you got Ayaz, you got Washtri, you got
Hmm.
Ilmater, not Ilmater, you got Leviator, Nerol, Erythnol, all in here. They're not touching this one. Earth Dragon. That's not for the player characters. That's
Yeah,
not for the
evil
kids.
players, Lord Forth. That's more difficult problem to tackle, so to speak, when you have
You
evil
can't.
players.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
but
work.
maybe if I know about it, I will ban that too. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outlaws are not evil characters, Jeff, right? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, the law might be evil. So yeah.
well, Garner, if you're going to get a nice condition, and that one does leave my shelf downstairs, original first print of with Cthulhu, you're looking at what, 325, 350 now for it. Yeah, it's just crazy. It's nuts. But then a severely damaged one, 125, 150. It's just crazy. That's probably that's the toughest book to get now. The original with the original Cthulhu and Meldabone in it. Yeah, it's tough to get that in a decent condition. Absolutely. All right, so there's someone 100. Well, I would hold on to them too. It's just money going up. So yeah, evil. Yeah, players that wish to play evil. I don't allow it in my game. There's got to be a specific reason for it, and then it's got to make total sense that it won't break the group or the campaign. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, but yeah,
exactly. Agreed. Being in, I don't want characters that are going to be an
yep,
annoyance. I don't need
hmm,
that.
yep.
I have enough annoying characters besides, or let me rephrase that. I have enough things to worry about besides that problem, because that can run into being a huge problem in the game. Having an evil character just messing things up. So I don't. I'm not. Hey, yes, character neutral. Yeah, well, character neutral can be a real entertainment or a real pain too. I agree, Curtis, 100%. Um, yeah,
That's being ultimately unreliable, which not good for party play either.
it's not. You want to do the right thing, and look.
You want to build trust between with your other players and between the characters, and have someone
Yeah.
who's chaotic neutral. That's terrible.
All
Yeah.
right, I'm going to say this, and I don't want to offend anyone, but I probably am going to.
Oh.
No, I am not Critical Role high rollers or another theatrical presentation where they may be running something for 6 to 10 weeks, and throwing an evil character into the mix is okay because that game ends, right? If I do that, say I do that with, and I have Walt playing an evil character thrown into the middle of a group of Knight of York characters, it's not going to go well. It's not
No,
going to go
Walt's
well.
character will end quickly.
Well, it's it. It's it, and I don't need that. But in a
Yeah.
theatrical setting adventure, that's a different story, right? And that's a completely different story than a game. Um, there's no way Falcons are up in the Chiefs. Um, so that is that an evil character or a lawful neutral shithead of Zilchus, Wayne? That's what it sounds like. That sounds like Michael Baton. That's exactly what that sounds like. And he was true lawful neutral. He actually said, "If you want me to heal you in the party, you have to pay me." He was a lawful neutral priest of Zilchus, and everyone hated and despised him. But I could live with that. But that cutthroat businessman doesn't sound like he is necessarily evil. So yeah, between Walt's four cheeseburgers. I'm just giving that as an example of exactly what that sounds like. Um, on the surface they can be beacons of society, but in person, it's like meeting your hero, and you find out that they're real jerks, right? It's the same thing. So I can see that being a true problem. Yep. So well, Michael Baton would have done the same thing. Oh yeah, he would have done the same. He would have done the same exact thing. No. So yeah, you gotta have a party that has your best interests together. That's
Hmm.
what you gotta have. If you don't have
Yeah.
that, then it's tough. It's tough for like I said, in a theatrical presentation that's a certain limited amount of time to throw in that wrench in there. The DM might want it. I can't have it. I can't. Um, I got around. It was a problem in the group. It was a serious problem, and that's why he did not play well with others. The character. Yeah, the player that wants to play evil and is really up to doing it slowly. Well, they can't. It's almost impossible. How the heck do you play an evil character with a crazed, an overpowering paladin in your group? Hmm. It's tough. It's really tough. So that's why character neutral is good with a tinge of badness. You die. Well, yeah, you die, and then. But why do we have? Do we really want the character part power people to start despising each other? Uh, you talking about Raceland? Raceland wasn't adventuring with the group at the end. Yeah, he wasn't a member of that party for all of it. I mean, they eventually like get out. So yeah, Yeah, that's Dragonlance too. So I don't know. I had this talk with Ed, and Ed's like, yeah, it's a good versus, if it does, it's good versus evil, and if you don't, you know, there's shades of gray in there, but like playing evil characters is extremely difficult the way the game's set. Not for me, but yeah, yeah. So a lot of players think that being evil means pick up. That's true. Evil is in the by the beholder, but it also is not the easiest thing to pull off. It's not. So, oh, by the way, I think it will be. Let me spell this correctly. Hold on one second. I'm going to be on a talk. I'm going to be interviewed tomorrow night on Razzmataz's Twitch.
Razzmatazz.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was on there once before.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be on there tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern. We're going to talk about Virtual GreyHawk, future stuff like the fundraiser, talk about the historical 24-hour GREYHAWK event I did, and other questions that they have about community. 8 p.m. EST. I'm going to be on. There you go. I'm going to be on. So we're going to. Yes, he is, and he does it at GaryCon. Absolutely. So I'm going to be on that channel tomorrow night at 8 for a little bit. So. Racelam's quite selfish for the party. So then he played nice too. If he didn't need to, then yep, that's when the party separated. Exactly. Yep. I don't know that good versus evil thing. We could chat about it forever. For me, um, I've put evil characters in the party before. I've as NPCs. I've snuck them in, sneaked them in. Let me use that. It's a whole show on it. I would also say that player characters once in a blue moon will have a neutral character, neutral character, and they'll go too far, and there'll be slippage, right? It'll be alignment slippage, and then they'll figure out a way to get themselves back into the good graces of the DM, right? But as far as an evil plot character that, for example, is a Cult of Tharisden person who's using the party to their ends, that's tough to pull off. I'm not saying it's impossible. I wouldn't do it. I've also had Dark Brotherhood infiltrators. They haven't lasted long in the group. Yeah, it's hard to find good help. See, that's paranoia, yeah. Or you can use true seeing. All right. The Inquisitor class has true sight. I've said this before. Here's a trivia question. One, true sight's an illusionist spell. True seeing is a clerical spell, right?
So you see alignment with true seeing too?
Yes. Well, here's the thing. One of those you see alignment as well. One you don't.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, because
which is which? True sight and true seeing. Yeah, you see alignment with true seeing, you don't with true sight. That's the only difference in the two spells. Yep, you guys are all right. Yep,
yeah,
sounds easy.
in Hogtail's alignment taint, meaning good and evil, that's something you don't see with true sight. True sight, you only see what's there, so to speak. You don't see intention and stuff. That's something that comes with the moral, but you can see that if you have you can sense a tint or taint rather. You can sense some. There are some creators that can sense both good and evil. Normally you can only sense one end of the scale, so you can a good creature can sense evil taint and the other way around. But that also means that if you're in an area that have that taint, like if you go into a paladin that is out in the open and kind of have a bunch of people can sense that they're evil among those people. But if they step into an evil temple, everything is evil, and all of a sudden the sense doesn't work, so to
Okay.
speak. So that means that it's only good, meaning if a paladin that is in a good temple, then an evil, a demon that comes in would stand out like a sore thumb. easy. But if you step into an evil temple, everything is evil, and all of a sudden that sense is blind, so to speak. So that every sense comes with drawbacks too. So in some situations, sensing evil is really, really useful, but in some sense, it's useless. And you will stand out like a sore thumb, because that means that all the demons, all the things that can sense good, they will be able to sense you in an evil temple, and so on. So it depends on. So if you're on home turf, you have really useful. But if you're on the opposite side of the fence, so to speak, then it becomes tricky. So
That's funny. So
yeah,
yeah. The morality of my game is the Order of Ulick is the central point of it. We will have groups like this group Vengeful Justice that we've been playing on Thursday night, last Thursday and this Thursday, where there's a lot of characters in it that are lawful and neutral. A lot of them are Red Knight followers, which is, if you know Red Knight from this book, which I didn't even bring this one up because this is like a
yeah,
lot of miscellaneous deities in it, powers and pantheons, because I don't like the Stratus thing. So you have Hexter and Heronius are brothers, and there's supposed to be this dead god Stratus is the lawful neutral one. So I brought in the combat tactic deity of the Red Knight, and my characters really like it, especially Bill. So there's a lot of lawful neutrals that are actually Red Knight supporters. So there's a lot of neutrals in that group, and that works
yeah,
sometimes. So not every adventuring group is all characters that are going to be in the order of
yeah,
Ulick, but there's still a couple that are. And the dark elf in that party is.
yeah.
So her mother
and
was for
and
years. So
and George Lexfire, the evil tint is not so much intent. It is certain. If you're a cleric of Ius, for instance, if you are devoted and swore allegiance to an evil deity, that means that you will turn evil. Not it's not even if you go around trying to murder a whole village, that it's not alignment per se, but if you use necrotic and evil spells, that gives you an evil tint, and that would wear off after a while. But if you have like an evil artifacts, that artifact burns evil or detected evil all the time. So, but if you are a cleric of Ius, for instance, then you will be evil because you have that connection. As long as you are a cleric of Ius and you get his spells and stuff, that means that then you have an evil sense. But murders and stuff like that, no, that doesn't cut it. It needs to be something with the more than normal human in that sense, so to speak. So if you have a tie to the lower planes, you use magic that is necrotic or something similar. That's how you get it. So yeah.
well,
So I
XT
wouldn't.
Candy. The only person
Yeah.
that can use that, yeah, only class that can use that is illusionist. So the only one's getting on detection.
Hmm.
So that is that's a problem in itself right there.
Yeah.
But it's a great spell. Take a gnome, illusionist thief. Now I had a gnome illusionist assassin. He was one of the nastiest. He was the head of the Dark Brotherhood in the late '80s, early '90s for me. Gnome illusionist assassin, which is allowable if you looked in Arcana. Gnomes are awfully mean assassins with improved invisibility and non-detection on. What do you do? You're screwed. You can't do anything. You can't find them. It's non-detection and improved invisibility while they're attacking is really just it's awful. It was great. So yep, fun times with that. All right.
Hmm.
So the original Tahanwick. That's in gnome form. At Bigby up. Sorry, Bigby the gnome now.
Yeah.
So
And
yes.
that's the other thing with
Good.
Hawk tells is that non-detection is magic. That means that then you will radiate magic. So you can use magic to shield evil taint or good ones, so to speak. But that means that then you will be magical, and that can be dispelled and maybe even seen through if you have more senses. So then you might be suspicious for other reasons, so to speak. So you can hide in some ways, and you can obscure yourself, and you can tweak things, but it's hard to hide completely. and it requires resources and it's hard to stand out. So it's more like you have to be in the right environment is usually the way. So you can and you can use it to your advantage. There are monsters, especially like monsters who live out there in the lower and higher planes and stuff. They can use it and they can sense this way more. They can communicate using taint, so to speak. So they can
Ooh.
communicate using it, and that way they can communicate in a way that you normally can't hear and you can't see unless you can detect evil or good. So that's my
Oh.
version of alignment languages, that these critters can actually communicate using that, so they can send each other messages and they can attune things and they can say we go all going to attack on command, so to speak, on cue, but that is not visible or audible or something. It's something that if you have taint, if you can sense evil, then you can sense something is coming, and it's not something you see. Normally, how you get it is you get that feeling in your tummy. So it
Oh.
tastes bad in your mouth. That's usually how you sense it. There are some animals and creatures can sense it by hearing or they can, but usually you smell it or you sense it in your gut, so to speak. That's usually how you. So it's very imprecise. You can't say what direction it is. It's just there, so to speak. So it's very limited. So I try to find, and there's a whole bunch of. I probably have like 15 different senses and stuff and rules for it. So I'm going to introduce them bit by bit as needed, so to speak. And taint is one of these that I think is really cool because you can do some awesome stuff with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Bigby is not a Noonies. No, he's not.
yep. So
Yep, that was a lot of side
no, it's cool.
stick here.
Oh,
Yeah.
so a couple other things. So after the GrowCon, there are some other events in October. The week after at Greenwood and Two Drink Minimum on a Saturday night, so it'll be Saturday the 12th at 6 p.m. We'll
Yep.
have an adventure with them. It'll be, let's see, Tony, Jeremy, Tony's fiance, is playing. Ed, um, Eric Boyd, and Eric Mengi are all playing. So there you go. All right. Also, a Gabbin, I believe it's the 23rd. I got to double check, but the 23rd, I finally will have, and it's a perfect time because it's near the Halloween season. Let me verify this, see if I can go on. Here, we put this down. Timothy Brannon on to talk about his witch class. Finally, I got him on. I don't see, shoot. I'm looking to see. I could have sworn I talked to him via Facebook Messenger, and I don't see it coming up. But yeah, so we should have Timothy Brannon on finally, and he has some great stuff. Um, you know, the first our first The Witch we use is his first edition book. So we will have. I'm almost positive that's the date. Wait a minute, here I have it here. So let me just bring this. So we use the hybrid of I think was it Dragon 108, 108 or whatever in this. So I've been talking to him, and we're gonna yeah. So here it is, the Timothy Brannon Witch book, which you can get this like $5 on drive-through. For first edition OSR. It's a good book. So yep, yeah, Alex, I got him on. He'll be on. We're going to talk about witches, which would be cool. Alrighty. Well, we got a ton of people on, so thank you all for
Yeah.
somehow I got highlighted, which is wonderful. But I think it's good. Someone's got to work tomorrow and wind down and things. So why don't we do the giveaway? Then we're rating the Darling Creep Show.
Yep.
And please note, everyone, the raid does not go in off the highlight. It only goes in from whoever's in here in chat. But yeah, we'll go into Darling. I think they're running a Cyberpunk game, I believe, over there. And you know what? Here, I gotta do one thing. Let me do this real quick.
Okay.
I'll match some here. Why isn't it working? Okay, because this is September, so I'm matching a lot of gift subs. There we go. All right, awesome. So get some people in there. Razzmatazz, you got one. Keith, you got one. They're on. That's good. So at least some people who are actually on got a couple of them. So there you go, matching it. So September's a great. Yep, September is a fun month. Of course, always fun. All right, so last call, exclamation point drawing. To get in, also please follow me on as many of these as you can. Everything gets poured to YouTube. It's always there. If you got any of those, there are places to reach out. But also, Virtual GREYHAWK Con is, yeah, man. Eat to surf. It's September. They've been throwing them out like crazy. It's a great month. A lot of cheaper subs. Cheaper cheers last week, and it was unbelievable during the games. It was fantastic. A lot of matching. So, like, if someone cheered for 5,000, it added another 500 points. Oh, that's great, man. It's good to hear, man. Good to hear.
Yeah.
Good to hear. All right. Of course, it was random, Raz. So you got it. So I just hit that button there. All right. Last call. Exclamation drawing. I'm going to do it. Winner's going to get their choice of 2. Pat 66, I'll get yours out tomorrow. I got some t-shirts to get out. It's also from Virtual GREYHAWK Con that people ordered as they signed up. That'll all go out tomorrow during the work week here. All right, let me go over and do the give. Cloudbot. We'll see you all. We don't know what the topic is, but we'll work on that. We'll see you all Wednesday night. All right, gonna close it out.
Yep.
Caesar again. Wow. Bing, 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 bing. Yeah, Jeremy, thank you for the support, and thank you for the books. I haven't even opened the boxes yet. They're so freaking heavy. So heavy. All right, Caesar, you got to get with me on what you want here, man. Do you have too many? Do you have against Cult of the Reptile God yet? Because I can give you N1 and N2. I have both ends, so just let me know. So, yeah, sometimes you can just get lucky. Sometimes it's just the way it works. So, thank you very much, all. Thank you, Twitch. Twitch has really stepped up. People go, oh, it's not a big deal to get the partner. Trust me, it is. They have a dedicated Discord where you can submit requests to get on the front page. This was not a submitted day. So for me, request, but during my 24-hour stream, we had over 2,200 people watching at one point. It was crazy. So plus, they're doing a lot of things to really work with us, helping us out. So it's really been great. I have nothing but good things to say about them. So, all right. We will see how many we get this raid into Darling, because I'm interested to see how many people are here and how many people are out on the front page. So we're going to find out in a second, Anna. All right, let's in Discord, let's think about what we're going to do for Wednesday.
Yep.
All righty. Oops. Wrong button.
Uh-oh.
Wrong button. All right, over to Darling. Yeah, John, that's the way it rolls, man.
Yep. Bye,
Thank you all. We'll see you all. Whoops. See you all shortly. Let's do the raid in. Great show. Thank you. Thank you for entertaining my specialty priest stuff. Here we go to the dashboard. Yep. Boing. Community. Let's hit the stream manager and let's raid in. Let's interested to see how many. Spiders. All right. 78, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you Wednesday night. Enjoy the evening.